Good morning, my beloved friend, as the first light of dawn brushes gently across the horizon, painting the world in soft shades of gold and pink. I invite you to pause with me for a moment. Take a deep breath and feel the quiet stillness that blankets the earth before the hustle of the day begins. This sacred hour, when the world seems to hold its breath and the air hums with possibility, is the perfect moment to align your heart with the divine, to listen for whispers that stir the soul, and to open yourself fully to a presence that never sleeps. I want you to imagine a person, perhaps someone very much like you, sitting alone in the stillness of the morning. Their shoulders are heavy with yesterday as burdens, their heart clenched by fear and uncertainty. They have walked through nights shadowed with sorrow, wrestling with loss, disappointment, and moments when hope seemed to vanish entirely. Each day feels like a repetition of struggle, each night a quiet echo of worry that refuses to fade. Their spirit is weary, and yet, in this very moment, something shifts. There is a faint stirring, a soft invitation to turn attention from the weight of the world to the source of all light, the origin of all hope. It is in these quiet spaces that we discover the profound power of prayer, when the world is still and the morning sky is tenderly illuminated. Our hearts can speak without distraction. Our souls can breathe without hurry, and our faith can rise in a clarity that daylight often blurs. Prayer is not merely a ritual or a routine. It is a doorway into the unseen, a bridge between the struggles of our human reality and the abundant promises of God. It is here, in this sacred intersection, that lives are transformed, hearts are strengthened, and destinies are shifted. As you stand on the threshold of this new day, I want you to carry with you the assurance that faith is not a fragile hope, it is a mighty force. It is the light that pierces through darkness, the anchor that holds steady amid chaos, and the song that rises above despair. In prayer, we declare not our weakness, but the strength of the one who created us, the one who guides every step, and the one who is already at work behind the scenes to turn impossibilities into testimonies, even when circumstances seem overwhelming. Prayer gives voice to courage, ignites hope in the desolate places, and restores the peace that the world cannot give. Now, I invite you to open your heart fully, to quiet every distraction, and to enter into a conversation with the divine. Allow yourself to feel the gentle presence that surrounds you, a warmth that flows into the deepest corners of your spirit. This is your sacred moment, a time set apart to acknowledge that you are not walking alone, that your burdens are seen, and that your journey is known by a loving and powerful God. Let your soul awaken to the reality that grace is already at work in your life, that mercy meets you here, and that every whispered hope, every silent longing, is received. Take a moment, beloved friend, to settle into this stillness. Imagine the fresh morning air filling your lungs, carrying with it renewal and promise. Know that in this quiet, holy hour, your prayers can ascend like incense, your faith can rise like the sun, and your spirit can encounter the source of life and strength in ways that transform both the ordinary and the extraordinary. Step gently, yet boldly, into this divine conversation, trusting that the presence you invite in this moment will continue to guide, sustain, and bless you throughout the day. With your heart open, your mind calm, and your spirit ready, let us now begin the sacred journey of prayer, stepping into the morning with expectation, hope, and the unshakable certainty that you are seen, you are heard, and you are deeply loved. Dear Heavenly Father, as I rise this morning and open my eyes to the first light brushing across the horizon, I come before you with a heart that feels both wary and hopeful. The quiet of this early hour wraps around me like a gentle embrace, and I sense your presence lingering in the stillness, waiting to meet me where I am, not where I wish I could be. Father, I lay before you the burdens that weigh heavily upon my spirit, the worries that have kept my mind restless through the night, and the fears that have tried to anchor my soul in doubt. You see every tear that has fallen silently, every sleepless moment spent wrestling with thoughts too heavy to release. You know the secret H's, the unspoken anxieties, and the moments of despair that have quietly whispered through my days. I confess that at times I have felt powerless, overwhelmed by circumstances that seemed too vast, too dark, or too unyielding. And yet, in this moment, I remind myself that your light is already piercing the shadows around me. The dawn that rises is not only a sign of a new day, but a reflection of your faithfulness. A reminder that darkness cannot endure in the presence of your glory. I sense a stirring in my heart, a gentle invitation to surrender fully to you, to place each worry, each fear, and each uncertainty into your hands. As I breathe in this quiet, I feel a soft shift within my spirit, as if the weight of yesterday begins to loosen, and your peace begins to settle like morning dew upon the grass. I ask that your presence would fill every empty corner of my heart, washing away doubt and saturating my thoughts with the truth that I am not alone, that I am held, and that I am known. Father, I recognize that before the world awakens and before the noise of the day begins to crowd my mind, there is a sacred space where I can simply be with you. Here, in this stillness, I do not need to speak with eloquence or wield knowledge. I simply need to open my heart and let it be seen, and I feel, even now, that you are near, tenderly observing, lovingly inviting, patiently waiting for me to let go of control and rest in your care. I lay down the tension that has settled over my body, the anxiety that has threaded through my thoughts, and the fatigue that has burdened my spirit. Let every part of me that is heavy be lifted by your gentle hand. Let my mind become quiet enough to hear the whispers of your guidance, and let my heart soften enough to receive the reassurance of your love. I thank you that you are not distant, that you are not unaware of my struggles, and that your understanding surpasses anything I can grasp, even when I feel small, insignificant, or overwhelmed. Your perspective reaches beyond my vision, encompassing the entirety of my life and every detail of my being. I bring before you the realities of my day ahead, the tasks that will demand my attention, the decisions that will require discernment, and the challenges that may seek to unsettle my spirit I invite your presence to go before me, to illuminate the paths I must walk, to steady my steps, and to guard my heart against the weight of worry and fear. I declare that the morning light is not only the rising sun, but a reflection of your promises, a signal that hope is renewed, that mercy is fresh, and that grace flows freely into every circumstance. Father, I am aware that life can be unpredictable, that the world can feel chaotic, and that my own strength is limited. And yet, even in the midst of uncertainty, I choose to place my confidence in you. I choose to allow my soul to rest in the assurance that you are faithful, that you are powerful, and that you are intimately involved in every detail of my life. I bring to you the unspoken worries about relationships, the silent fears about provision, the quiet anxieties about health, and the hidden burdens that I have carried for too long. Let your Spirit touch these areas and breathe life into places that feel lifeless, hope into places that feel empty, and courage into places that feel timid. I ask that your light would illuminate every corner of my mind, every shadow of doubt, every hesitation, and every fear. Let your truth shine so brightly that nothing can remain hidden from your grace. Father, I am mindful that the gift of this early hour is not simply a gift of time, but a gift of encounter, an invitation to experience intimacy with you in the stillness before the day presses in. I want to be fully present in this hour, to listen with my heart, to respond with honesty, and to allow your Spirit to move freely within me. Let my thoughts become prayers, my breath become worship, and my attention become a channel for your presence. As I breathe in the soft morning air, I feel a sense of awakening, not just in my body, but in my soul. It is as if the quiet itself carries a sacred energy, a pulse that aligns with heaven, a rhythm that reminds me that I am alive, I am cherished, and I am held by the one who never sleeps nor slumbers. In this awareness, I choose to surrender the need to control outcomes, to release the grip of fear, and to allow myself to rest fully in your care. I choose to step into the day with trust, to walk with confidence in the reality of your presence, and to open my heart to the possibilities that only you can bring. I acknowledge that challenges may arise, that circumstances may be unpredictable, and that the world may demand much of my attention. Yet even so, I know that your Spirit goes before me, that your wisdom guides me, and that your protection surrounds me. Let this quiet hour set the tone for the entire day, a foundation of peace, faith, and hope. Let it be a reminder that even in the smallest moments of stillness, your power is present, your love is tangible, and your grace is sufficient. I invite you, Father, to move in this morning as only you can. Let your light shine in my thoughts, your peace settle in my heart, your courage rise in my spirit, and your guidance flow through every choice I make. Let the shadows of worry fade, the weight of uncertainty lift, and the clarity of your presence fill every corner of my mind and soul. Here, in the sacred quiet of dawn, I open myself fully to you, ready to listen, ready to receive, ready to be transformed by your love. Let this be the beginning of a day shaped by your Spirit, infused with your peace, and aligned with your will, where every breath, every thought, and every action flows in harmony with your eternal purpose. Father, as the quiet of morning continues to settle over my soul, I find myself breathing more slowly, listening more deeply, and feeling the gentle unfolding of something sacred within me. The stillness that surrounds me does not feel empty, it feels purposeful, almost as if you are wrapping me in a soft silence that prepares my heart for something deeper. After opening my soul to your presence, I realize now how much I have been carrying alone. I sense you inviting me, not just to feel your peace, but to begin the work of surrender, of letting go, and of confessing the burdens that have entangled my heart for too long. So here I am, Father, with all that I am, not trying to appear stronger or more composed than I truly feel. I confess that I have wandered in thought, in word, in action, and even in the silence of indifference. There are choices I have made that I am not proud of, moments when fear ruled instead of faith, when pride whispered louder than humility, when I chose comfort over courage. I bring those moments before you now, not to be shamed by them, but to release them. I know your heart is not one that delights in condemnation, but one that longs for connection. And it is through confession that this connection is restored. There have been things I have said that wounded, even when I did not intend them to. There are things I should have spoken, but remained silent out of fear or insecurity. I confess the times I judged harshly, acted selfishly, and allowed bitterness to grow where grace should have been planted. I bring you the hidden thoughts, the quiet compromises, the inward struggles I have tried to ignore. I name them before you now, because hiding only deepens the ache, and I am tired of pretending I do not need your healing. I do. There is a part of me that still hesitates, still wonders if your mercy can reach this far, if your forgiveness can cover even this. And yet, I remember that your love is not fragile. It is not measured in percentages or conditions. It is fierce, constant, and relentless in its desire to restore what is broken. So I choose to believe not just in your ability to forgive, but in your desire to. I choose to release the shame I have carried, the guilt that has chained me, the voice inside that keeps reminding me of every failure. I lay it all down now at your feet, and I refuse to pick it up again. As I confess these things, I do not feel the sting of punishment. I feel the warmth of release, like water washing over my soul. I sense your grace moving through me, not erasing my past, but redeeming it. There is no need to hide in shadows when you offer light that heals instead of harms. I imagine your presence like a river flowing through every corner of my heart, sweeping away the weight of regret, the sediment of old wounds, the debris of disappointment. And in that river, I am not just cleaned, I am refreshed, revived, and made whole again. Father, I want to live from a place of honesty, even when it is uncomfortable. I no longer want to wear masks or armor. I want my heart to remain soft, even if that means letting it break, because I have learned that brokenness in your presence does not destroy, it rebuilds. You take the shattered places and shape them into something that reflects more of you. So if I must be undone to be remade, then let me be undone. Let truth rise up in me. Let repentance reshape me. and let mercy carry me into newness of life. I confess not only my wrongs, but also my resistance, how often I have delayed obedience. Justified. Distraction, or clung to control. I admit the times I knew the right path, but chose the easier one instead. You see all of it, and still you do not turn away. Instead, you draw closer, whispering not shame, but invitation. You offer not scorn, but solace. And I am learning, slowly and tenderly, to trust that nothing I reveal to you can separate me from you. In fact, the more I reveal, the more I feel your nearness. I ask now, not just for forgiveness, but for transformation. Let this confession not be a temporary cleansing, but the beginning of a deeper change. Where I have been reactive, make me reflective. Where I have been impatient, teach me patience. Where I have been fearful, breathe courage into my lungs. Where I have withheld love, show me how to give it freely. Shape me not by pressure, but by presence. Mold me not with force, but with grace. Let your kindness be the chisel that sculpts me into who you have always seen me becoming. And as I release these confessions into your care, I begin to feel the tension in my spirit ease. The weight pressing on my chest lifts. The inner restlessness quiets. My breath deepens. There is peace here, not the kind that depends on circumstances, but the kind that flows from reconciliation. I realize that nothing I have done has disqualified me from your love. In fact, it is my brokenness that has drawn you in closer. You are not waiting for perfection. You are simply waiting for honesty. And now that I have given it, I feel something open within me that had long been closed. This moment of surrender is not weakness, it is strength. To admit my need, to name my flaws, to lay down my defenses, is not a sign of failure, but of freedom. I am no longer hiding. I am no longer pretending. I am standing in the open, exposed yet safe, vulnerable yet held, imperfect yet deeply loved. And in this space, I am ready to receive what only you can give: the grace to start again, the wisdom to walk forward, and the courage to become new. Let every breath I take today carry this awareness. Let every step I make echo this truth. I have been forgiven. I am being restored. And nothing in my past has the power to rewrite the future you have planned for me. Lord, as I sit in this sacred stillness, having laid down the weight of my failures and surrendered the shame I once carried, something deeper begins to awaken in me, a quiet reverence for who you truly are. The more I release what is mine, the more I begin to recognize what is eternally yours. My eyes shift from the inward heaviness I carried to the majesty that surrounds me. I begin to realize that all along, even in the silence, even in the places I felt alone, your sovereignty remained unshaken. You are not a distant force waiting for perfection. You are the unchanging center, holding all things together, steady and sure, even when my world feels anything but God. I do not always understand the way your power works. I do not always see your hand clearly in the swirl of circumstances. And yet, even in the mystery, I feel the truth rising in me that you are in control, that you were never absent, that you have been working in the unseen, orchestrating moments with a wisdom far beyond mine. I look at the sunrise breaking through the clouds, and I sense that the same hand that pulls light from darkness is holding my life in perfect balance. You are the beginning and the end, the breath in my lungs and the foundation beneath my feet. You were before my first thought, and you will remain long after my last worry fades. This is the truth I choose to stand on, even when emotions try to pull me elsewhere. There is something humbling in this recognition, something that both quiets my fears and silences my pride. I am not the one holding it all together. I am not the source of my own safety or strength. And yet, I am not left vulnerable or alone. You are the constant when I am inconsistent. You are the calm in the middle of my uncertainty. You are the great I am the one who sees the end from the beginning and never loses control. Even when I do, I lift my gaze now, not in fear but in awe, not in shame but in wonder, because I know that the same power that formed the stars has chosen to be near to me. You are not shaken by my questions or my seasons of doubt. Your throne is not moved by my instability. When I am lost in indecision, you remain the guide who sees the whole map. When I am overcome by pressure, you remain the anchor who never drifts. Even when the world seems to spin out of control, you are the still point, the rock that cannot be moved. Your sovereignty is not dependent on my understanding. It simply is. And today, I take comfort in that. I rest in the knowledge that I am not required to know everything. I am simply invited to trust the one who does. I acknowledge that your plans are higher than mine, that your ways stretch far beyond what I can see or grasp. And even when I do not understand the path you have chosen for me, I believe that it is marked by love. I believe that it is written with purpose. I believe that no detail of my story is outside your view. There is no detour I have taken, no delay I have experienced, no mistake I have made that can cancel the destiny you have prepared. You are not the author of confusion or chaos. You are the God of order, of redemption, of intentional grace. In recognizing your sovereignty, I begin to see my struggles differently. They are not signs of your absence, but invitations to look more closely, to draw nearer, to lean harder on the truth that you are with me. What I once saw as interruptions, I now begin to see as intersections, places where your will meets my weakness and reshapes the journey. I thought I was waiting for you to move. Perhaps it was you waiting for me to see that you already are, that you never stopped, that you never slowed, that even in the silence, your hand was steady on the wheel. God, I do not want to worship you only when things go as planned. I want to trust your sovereignty in the waiting, in the loss, in the redirections that I do not yet understand. I want to honor you not only as my comforter, but as my king. Let my soul bow not just in desperation, but in reverence. Let my faith not just cry out for rescue, but rise up in worship even when no answer is in sight. I choose to lift my hands in the unknown, to plant my feet on the unshakable truth that you reign, always and forever. You are the God of yesterday, today, and forever. You are the architect of the universe and the intimate keeper of my heart. The winds obey your voice, the seas still at your command. The mountains stand only because you allow them to. How then could I doubt that you see me? How could I question that you hold my life with care? I am a breath, a blink, and yet you know me by name. You call me beloved. You surround me with favor. You crown me with your attention. This is not the result of my goodness. It is the reflection of yours. So I take this moment to acknowledge not just who you are in theory, but who you are to me. You are my refuge when the storms rise. You are my compass when the road disappears. You are my strength when I have nothing left. You are my source when the well runs dry. And because of that, I can face this day not as a victim of chance, but as a child of promise. I do not need to chase control when I am already carried by the one who holds all things. Let my heart stay aligned with this truth today. Let every anxious thought be stilled by the reminder that you are sovereign. Let every hurried breath slow in the rhythm of your peace. Let every decision I make be guided by the awareness that you see what I do not. Let every fear lose its voice in the sound of your steady love. I will not worship my problems. I will not be ruled by uncertainty. I will place my eyes on you, the author and finisher of my faith, the one who holds the sun in place and still bends low to meet me in the quiet of this hour. Father, in the quiet that lingers after recognizing your sovereignty, I feel a deep and honest need rising in me, not one of fear, but of dependence. Now that I have acknowledged you as the one who holds all things together, I find myself reaching out, not in desperation, but in trust, asking that your hand would continue to cover me today. Not because I expect trouble, but because I know how fragile I am without your covering. I do not take your protection for granted, nor do I assume I can navigate this world without your presence surrounding every part of me. This world is noisy, unpredictable, and at times unkind. It moves fast, speaks loudly, and often pushes me to places I was not prepared to go. I feel it in the conversations that leave residue on my heart, in the headlines that unsettle my peace, in the tensions that tug at the edges of my calm. So I come to you, Lord, asking for something deeper than safety. I ask for shelter, a covering that wraps not just around my body, but around my thoughts, my emotions, and every vulnerable place within me. I ask for your presence to be like a shield, not just against harm, but against despair, confusion, distraction, and the subtle erosion of my peace. Protect me from the things I cannot see, from the dangers that lurk in the unseen spaces of the day. I do not know every trap, every lie, every spiritual attack that may wait ahead, but you do. You see the beginning from the end. You see what I cannot, and because of that, I trust you to lead me away from harm, to guard my steps when I am unaware, and to keep me steady when I might otherwise fall. Let no weapon formed against me prosper. Let no scheme meant to harm me find its way through the covering of your grace. Let your angels encamp around me, and let your peace rule over the territory of my heart. Cover my mind, Father, for it is often the first battlefield. So many thoughts rise without warning, thoughts of worry, insecurity, fear, comparison, and doubt. I ask that your truth would be a barrier against those lies. Let every thought that does not reflect your voice be silenced before it can take root. Let your words be louder in me than the voice of fear or the whisper of accusation. Help me recognize the difference between your conviction and the enemy's condemnation, and teach me to choose truth over every false narrative that tries to weave itself into my thinking. Protect my heart, for it feels everything deeply, sometimes more than I realize. There are places in me still tender from old wounds, still healing from disappointment, still uncertain from seasons of pain. I do not want to carry those places unguarded. I ask that you would be my defender not only from those who might intend harm, but even from myself when I become my own harshest critic. Remind me that I am not fragile because I feel deeply I am formed in your image, and my sensitivity is not a weakness to be hidden, but a gift to be shielded and refined by your Spirit. Guard my steps today. Let me not walk blindly or hurriedly into spaces you have not prepared me for. Slow me down if I begin to rush ahead of your timing. Prompt me to move if I begin to shrink back from where you are calling me. Place your wisdom like a compass in my spirit, and let my discernment grow sharper as I walk in awareness of your leading. Protect me from the need to please everyone. Protect me from chasing applause or validation in places that cannot sustain my identity. Teach me to walk steadily, purposefully, and humbly under the shadow of your wings. And Lord, I ask not only for protection from danger, but for protection from distraction. It is often the small, quiet things that pull me away from you, the endless notifications, the trivial worries, the constant comparisons, the noise of doing more and more without pausing to be with you. Guard the space around my spirit. Let your presence be like a quiet perimeter that keeps the clamor of the world from overtaking the whisper of your voice. Remind me that I was not created to live in a constant state of reaction, but in a posture of sacred attentiveness. Cover my relationships, Lord. Surround my conversations with grace. Protect my home from division, my friendships from misunderstanding, and my work from striving. Let your peace dwell richly in every interaction, and let your Spirit correct what I cannot see. Where there is tension, be the balm. Where there is distance, be the bridge. Where there is potential for conflict, be the one who speaks before I do. Let every word that I speak carry the fragrance of your presence and the wisdom of your heart. I also ask you to protect my joy. There are days when joy feels elusive, when laughter seems like a luxury, and hope feels fragile. But I know that joy is not the absence of hardship. It is the evidence of your presence. So I ask that you would protect it like a precious flame. Shield it from the wind of discouragement, from the rain of fatigue, from the shadows of doubt. Let joy remain, even if it is quiet. Let it glow in me as a silent declaration that I am covered, that I am kept, that I am not forsaken, even as I move through the hours ahead. Father, let me stay conscious of this covering. Let it not be a concept I leave behind in prayer, but a reality I carry with me, whether I am in conversation or in solitude, in movement or in rest. Let me feel your nearness like armor that is both invisible and impenetrable. Let it wrap around me in places no one else can see. Let it reassure me when fear attempts to return. Let it remind me that no matter where I go, I do not walk alone. If the day brings difficulty, be my strength. If it brings temptation, be my escape. If it brings sorrow, be my comfort. If it brings uncertainty, be my guide. Let nothing catch me off guard, because nothing catches you off guard. And even when I do not understand why something happens, help me trust that I am still under your wings. You are not a distant observer. You are an ever-present shelter. I do not ask to be removed from every storm. I ask to be preserved within them. So as I rise, as I step forward into this day, I wrap myself in the knowledge that your protection is not temporary. It is not based on my performance. It is not limited by my awareness. It is a promise, a covering, a covenant sealed in love and guarded by power. I walk not in fear, in assurance. I walk not in worry, but in watchfulness. I walk not alone, but as one who is shielded on all sides by a presence that is greater than anything this day might hold. Lord, as I rise from the shelter of your protection, I feel the stirring of something deeper within my soul, a quiet resolve, confront the unseen walls that still stand between me and the fullness of your freedom. You have guarded me through the night, surrounded me with your peace, and steadied my heart. Yet, I know there are places inside me still bound by fear. Memories and habits that whisper defeat. So I come before you now, not as one who is perfect, but as one who is willing. I open the locked rooms of my heart, ask you to walk through them with authority, breaking every chain that keeps me from living in the light of your truth. Father, I no longer want to carry the silent weight of things that have followed me for years, the lies that shaped my identity, the wounds that became walls, the regrets that replay like unending echoes. I know your power is greater than the voices that try to define me. I know your truth can shatter any lie, no matter how deeply rooted. So I surrender these strongholds into your hands. Every thought that says I am not enough, every fear that tells me to stay small, every memory that drags me back to shame. I name them before you, not to glorify them, but to strip them of the secrecy that gives them strength. Let your light expose what has hidden in darkness, and let your presence transform what once felt unchangeable. You are not intimidated by the ruins within me. You are the God who rebuilds. You take what is broken and create something better than before. I have seen how you turn pain into purpose and weakness into wisdom. So even now, I believe that the very places where I have fallen will become the altars where I see your glory. Where there has been bitterness, plant forgiveness. Where there has been fear, grow courage. Where there has been guilt, breathe mercy. I no longer want to live reacting to my past. I want to rise, renewed by your spirit, walking forward in the liberty you have already purchased for me. There are chains that do not show on the outside, Lord. They hide behind smiles and business. They disguise themselves as strength, when in truth, they are silent prisons of control, pride, or people-pleasing. I ask that you expose them gently but clearly. Teach me to recognize the moments when I trade peace for performance, when I hide my pain instead of healing it, when I choose comfort over conviction. Let your spirit interrupt those patterns. Let truth interrupt my denial. Let love interrupt my fear. Break every cycle that keeps me small, and lift my vision higher to see myself not as I was, but as I am becoming in you. There are also battles that I cannot fight alone. The unseen conflicts that rage in the spiritual realm: doubt, despair, temptation, accusation, those invisible storms that strike without warning. I ask you to fight for me, Lord. Stand between me and every power that seeks to destroy my joy. Silence every voice that does not come from you, where the enemy has spoken discouragement. Speak destiny, where he has whispered hopelessness. Remind me of your promises. I declare, by faith, that no shadow is too deep for your light, no curse too strong for your name, and no wound too old for your healing. You are the breaker of chains, the defender of the weak, the restorer of souls. God, I want to partner with you in this breaking. Teach me discipline, so I do not rebuild the walls you tear down. Teach me obedience, so I do not return to what once enslaved me. When I am tempted to pick up the old burdens, remind me that I am free. Let your word be the weapon I carry, sharp, steady, and true. Let my prayer be a declaration that I belong to you, and let my praise confuse every plan meant to harm me. I refuse to be a prisoner of my past when your blood has already written my freedom. In this moment, I invite your Spirit to renew my mind. Replace every false belief with your truth. Replace the habit of worry with the rhythm of worship. Replace resentment with peace, and exhaustion with divine rest. Let me not only believe in your power, but live from it. Let me speak words that carry the weight of heaven, and think thoughts that mirror your heart. Every place that the enemy has occupied, reclaim it with your presence. Every fear that has built a throne, dethrone it with your truth. Every lie that has ruled my emotions, overthrow it with your love. There are strongholds not only within me, but around me and my family, my work, my relationships. Father, move through those spaces with the same authority, where there is generational pain. Begin healing. Where there is division, create unity. Where there is confusion, bring clarity. Let your Spirit breathe through every atmosphere I walk into, transforming it from tension to peace. Let my very presence carry your light, not because I am strong, but because I am surrendered. Wherever darkness has claimed territory, let your truth reclaim it through me. Lord, I know breaking strongholds is not a single moment, but a process of sacred unlearning and rebuilding that happens one surrendered breath at a time. I know there will be days I stumble, days I feel the pull of old habits, but I also know your grace is greater than my failures. You are patient in your refining, and you do not rush the work of freedom. You lead gently, even as you transform completely. So I will not fear the process. I will not despise the waiting. I will simply keep walking, one step at a time, under your guidance, until every chain becomes a testimony of your power. Even now, I feel the atmosphere shifting. The weight that once pressed down feels lighter. The silence that once frightened me now feels sacred. Because where your Spirit is, there is liberty, and where liberty dwells, fear cannot remain. So I breathe deeply, knowing that every exhale is an act of release, and every inhale an invitation to more of you. I am not who I was yesterday. I am not trapped in what was broken. I am becoming, moment by moment, through your grace, a reflection of your strength and mercy. So, Father, continue to do what only you can do. Tear down what keeps me bound and rebuild what sets me free. Teach my soul to recognize freedom, not as the absence of struggle, but as the presence of you in every struggle. Let this day be marked not by resistance, but by renewal. Let me carry the awareness that your victory is not distant, but alive within me now, God. As the dawn stretches wider and the light grows steadier, I feel a quiet renewal stirring deep within me. The strongholds have been broken. The weight of yesterday has been lifted, and in this stillness, I sense the gentle pulse of new faith awakening. I am not the same person who began this prayer. Somewhere between surrender and silence, you have reshaped my heart. I come before you again, Father, not only to thank you for freedom, but to ask for vision to see beyond what is visible, to believe beyond what is certain, and to walk by faith when sight fails. Lord, faith is not something I wish to borrow for a moment. I long for it to become the rhythm of my being. Too often I have believed only what I could measure or control. Yet faith, I know, is the language of trust, the decision to lean into your promise even when logic cannot follow. So teach me again how to believe with the wonder of a child and the endurance of a warrior when my prayers seem to linger unanswered. Help me remember that silence is not abandonment when the path curves where I cannot see. Help me keep my eyes fixed on your goodness, not the uncertainty before me. Remind me that faith grows not in comfort, but in obedience, and that what I surrender in trust, you always redeem in time. Father, renew my vision as you renew my faith. The days can blur together in routine, and it is easy to lose sight of purpose in the noise of obligation. But I do not want to simply exist. I want to live aware of your movement, your whispers, your divine orchestration in ordinary hours. Open the eyes of my heart to see you at work in the details, in the pauses I used to rush through, in the interruptions I once called inconveniences. Let me see every encounter as divine timing, every challenge as training, every delay as preparation. Sharpen my vision until I can look beyond frustration and glimpse the sacred thread of your plan running quietly through all things. There are dreams, Lord, that I laid down long ago, dreams that once burned, bright dimmed, under the weight of fear or disappointment. Today, I ask you to breathe on them again. If they were never mine to carry, release them. But if they were planted by you, awaken them. Stir the embers of calling that I buried beneath practicality. Let me not confuse humility with hesitation or obedience with avoidance. You did not design me to live small. You shaped me for divine purpose. So reignite what you placed within me, and let your spirit breathe boldness where timidity once lived. Faith, I have learned, is not the absence of doubt, it is the refusal to let doubt have the final word. So when the enemy whispers that nothing will change, let me remember that you specialize in impossible things. When fear insists I have failed too deeply, Remind me that your mercy writes new beginnings every morning. Let my trust become like muscle strengthened through resistance, refined through repetition, and anchored in love. Give me a faith that endures the waiting, a faith that praises before the answer, a faith that still stands even when tears fall. I want to live believing that you are not just able, but willing, not just distant, but near, not just a concept, but a companion. Lord, renew not only what I see, but how I see. Help me look at others with your compassion instead of my assumptions. Let me notice the beauty in broken people, the lessons in loss, and the grace hidden in struggle. Too often my eyes have been trained to measure success by comfort. Yet you call me to measure it by growth. Transform my sight until I can rejoice in unseen victories, the quiet forgiveness, the silent patience, the unseen endurance. Let me celebrate progress even when it is invisible. Let me find gratitude not only in answered prayers, but in the strengthening that happens while waiting. God, I also ask for clarity about where to go next. There are paths that look appealing but lead to emptiness, and others that seem uncertain but are filled with promise. Align my desires with your direction. Let me not chase what shines but what sustains. Give me courage to release what no longer fits, and faith to step into what is new. Even when your leading feels unconventional, help me recognize it as holy. Let my confidence rest not in outcomes, but in obedience. I would rather walk with you into the unknown than run alone toward the familiar. As faith renews, let vision expand. Let me see possibilities where others see endings. Hope where others see ruins. Purpose where others see pain. You are not a God of coincidence. You are the author of connection. So teach me to trace your fingerprints across the landscape of my days. Let my imagination be sanctified, no longer confined by fear, but inspired by your creativity. Let me dream with courage, plan with humility, and move with conviction, knowing that your Spirit goes before me in every endeavor. When weariness comes, remind me that renewal is not found in striving, but in resting. Help me remember that faith is sustained not by constant motion, but by consistent communion. Let stillness be sacred, and silence be filled with your presence. Refill my heart with expectancy. Let me rise each morning, not repeating yesterday's prayers, but expanding them, stretching faith further. Daring to believe for more, trusting you in deeper ways. May my spirit become like a well that never runs dry, because its source is eternal. Lord, let this renewed faith not remain private. Let it overflow into how I live, speak, and love. Let others encounter your goodness through my calm in chaos, my gratitude in trial, my hope in hardship. Let my life become evidence that faith is not fragile, it is fierce, resilient, and luminous. Let me be a living reflection of what happens when trust replaces control and vision replaces fear. Wherever I go, let light go with me. Wherever I speak, let grace follow. Wherever I pause, let peace settle. Father, I thank you that renewal is not a moment, but a rhythm, a steady pulse of transformation that beats with every breath of surrender. Even as this morning unfolds into day, let faith remain alive, not as a feeling, but as a foundation. Let vision continue to expand. not through effort but through intimacy with you. Every sunrise is another invitation to begin again, not to chase perfection, but to walk in presence. So as I step into this day, may my eyes stay lifted, my spirit stay anchored, and my heart stay open to the unfolding of your divine design that continues even when I do not see it. Father, as vision returns and faith awakens fresh within me, there is a quiet warmth growing in my chest, something more than peace, something deeper than relief. It is gratitude, not just a passing thank you whispered out of politeness, but a full-bodied, soul-deep expression rising from places in me that were once cold and closed. I do not feel the need to rush forward just yet. I want to pause in this moment and let gratitude have room to speak, because it is here that I remember how far you have brought me, how gently you have held me, and how faithfully you have stayed. God, I confess that sometimes I have moved too quickly past your goodness. I have chased the next prayer, the next solution, the next answer, without first turning to simply say, I see what you have done. I see the ways you protected me when I did not know I was in danger. I see the peace you poured into the cracks of my anxiety. I see the people you placed beside me when I felt alone. And most of all, I see how you never gave up on me, not once. Not when I doubted you, not when I resisted you, not when I forgot how to be still. You stayed. You loved. You led. Today, I want to bring you the kind of thanks that rises from a healed place, not just because the pain is gone, but because I recognize who carried me through it. I see now that redemption is not only a rescue, it is a return to beauty, to wholeness, to joy. Is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is the quiet return of laughter. Sometimes it is the moment I realize I no longer feel fear in a place that once held me captive. Sometimes it is the courage to try again, to hope again, to live as if I am truly free. These are the evidences of your redemption, and I carry them in the folds of my story. Lord, I remember who I was before I invited you into the shadows. I remember the numbness, the striving, the constant ache of searching for meaning in empty things. But you met me in the H, and instead of condemning my wanderings, you welcomed me with a love I had never truly known. You did not demand I clean myself up first. You did not ask for performance or perfection. You simply offered presence. And now, looking back, I see how every step toward you was met with 10 from you toward me. Thank you for redeeming not only my soul, but my story, for taking the parts I tried to hide and transforming them into testimony, for turning regret into wisdom, scars into strength, silence into song. Even the chapters I would never choose again are not wasted in your hands. Somehow, you weave it all into something beautiful, not in spite of the pain, but through it. Thank you for showing me that nothing is too far gone, and no heart is too fractured to be healed. Gratitude is the language of the redeemed, and I want it to become the rhythm of my days. Not just when things are good, but even when they are not, because even in difficulty, your character does not change. You remain steady, patient, generous. Even when answers do not come, you still give yourself, and I have come to realize that your presence is the greatest gift of all. More than blessings, more than solutions, more than open doors, I am grateful for you. Let my gratitude shape how I see this day. Let it lift my eyes from what I lack and teach me to recognize the abundance already around me. The breath in my lungs, the sunrise through the window, the opportunity to begin again, the chance to love, to give, to receive, to be fully alive. These are not small things. These are sacred gifts. Help me not to overlook them in search of something grander. Let me become a person who sees beauty in the ordinary and worships you in the unnoticed places. Lord, I thank you for the strength you have built in me, not always by removing hardship, but by walking with me through it. Thank you for the joy that has returned, even if it came slowly. Thank you for the forgiveness I did not think I deserved, and for the peace that followed. Thank you for the prayers you answered, and the ones you are still holding with care. Thank you for the doors you closed, and the ones you opened when I was finally ready. Thank you for the grace that caught me every time I stumbled, and for the hope that refused to let me give up. Let my heart remain tender to this truth that everything I have, every good and perfect gift, has come from your hand. I do not stand here because of my own wisdom or strength. I stand because you upheld me when I could not lift myself. I walk forward because you made a way where there was none. I smile again because you whispered joy into my sorrow. Let this thankfulness never grow cold, never become ritual. Let it be a fire that burns quietly but constantly in the center of who I am. And God, may this gratitude overflow into how I live. Let it show in the way I speak with kindness instead of criticism, in the way I give with generosity instead of fear, in the way I respond with patience instead of defensiveness. Let my life become a living thank you, a song that rises from the soul of someone who knows they have been seen, rescued, and loved by a God who never fails. When others encounter me, let them feel the overflow of a grateful heart. I know there will be days when I forget again, when worries grow loud or disappointments blur my vision. But even then, I ask you to gently remind me, bring back the memory of your faithfulness. Let my gratitude become an anchor, steadying me when emotions try to toss me around. Let it ground me in what is true, that I am loved, I am chosen, I am free, and that no matter what I face, I do so with you beside me. So today, I offer this gratitude not as a one-time offering, but as a continual breath. As long as I am alive, let praise rise from me, not because life is perfect, but because you are good. Let this posture of thanksgiving be more than a reaction. Let it be my identity. For I am the one you rescued. I am the one you restored. I am the one you continue to lead with tenderness and strength. And for that, I will forever give thanks, not just in words, but with the way I live, love, and follow you. Father, from a heart full of gratitude, I come to you carrying another kind of longing, one that touches deeper than words can often reach. With faith newly awakened and vision lifted higher, I now turn inward to the parts of me that remain weary, worn, and wounded. You know these places well. Lord, the quiet aches in my body that speak without words, the fatigue that never fully fades, the thoughts that spiral before I can slow them down. And so I come, not just for peace or direction, but for healing, real, tangible, lasting healing in my body, in my mind, in the places where my strength falters and my resilience runs thin. There are moments, God, when I feel disconnected from my own self, when my mind races ahead of my spirit, and my body struggles to keep up. I have learned to push through pain, to function while frayed, to smile through strain. But this morning, I choose something different. I choose to be honest about what hurts. I choose to stop pretending that weariness is strength. I choose to bring it all to you, without filters or masks or fear, because I believe you are not just the God of my spirit, but the healer of my whole being, every cell, every nerve, every breath, every thought. Lord, I bring you the H's I cannot name, the tension that hides in my shoulders, the exhaustion that sits behind my eyes, the heaviness that creeps into my bones. I ask you to move through my body with gentleness and authority. Where there is inflammation, bring calm. Where there is pain, bring relief. Where there is dysfunction, bring restoration. You know every system, every signal, every symptom. You created this body with intention, and you are able to bring it back into balance, back into harmony with your design. I ask not only for healing, but for renewal of freshness that goes deeper than sleep, deeper than rest. Let your touch be like living water, flowing through every tired place and awakening vitality again. And Father, just as much, I bring to you my mind, the space where so many battles begin and end. The thoughts that wear grooves into my confidence, the worries that settle into patterns, the memories that return without invitation. Sometimes my thoughts move too fast, and other times they freeze in fear. Sometimes they dwell too long in the past, or leap too far into the unknown. But you are not a God of confusion. You are the God of clarity, order, and peace. So I ask you now to speak into the center of my mind and bring alignment. Let your truth untangle what anxiety has knotted. Let your presence still what stress has stirred. Let your voice override every lie I have accepted as truth. There are stories I have told myself about who I am, stories written by failure, by trauma, by comparison. I bring them into the light now, and I ask you to rewrite them. Where I have called myself weak, remind me of your strength. Where I have called myself broken, show me your wholeness. Where I have believed I am not enough, let your love redefine my worth. I ask that you would build new pathways in my thinking, paths paved with truth, guarded by hope, led by grace. Let my mind become a dwelling place for your spirit, a space where peace is not a visitor, but a resident. God, I believe healing is not only possible, it is promised in your presence. It may not always happen in an instant, and it may not look how I expect, but I trust that you are always working for my restoration. Whether you heal through process or miracle, I open myself to receive. I will not place limits on what you can do. I will not let past disappointment dictate my present expectation. I choose hope, I choose belief. I choose to hold space for the possibility that today could be the beginning of something new in me physically, mentally, emotionally. There are places in me that have learned to live with pain, not because I trust you less, but because I have adapted. But even in those areas, I now give you permission to speak again, to touch what I have stopped asking you to change, to breathe on what I have quietly accepted as permanent. You are the God who brings dead things back to life. So let nothing in me remain untouched by your renewal. Not even the places I have hidden, not even the scars I have called normal. I do not just want to survive, I want to be made whole. Father, I also ask for discernment in how I care for the body and mind you have given me. Teach me to listen when I need rest, to move when I need strength, to nourish what has been neglected. Show me how to partner with you in healing, not resist it through avoidance or denial. Let your spirit guide me in rhythms of care, not out of fear, but out of honor for what you have entrusted to me. Remind me that healing is not selfish, it is sacred. It is not weakness, it is wisdom. And when I embrace it, I step into the fullness of the life you have prepared for me. If there are roots beneath my pain, emotional wounds, unforgiveness, unspoken grief, I ask you to reveal them with tenderness. I do not fear what you show me, because I know you expose only what you intend to heal. Lead me gently through the process. Sit with me in the discomfort. Speak softly where I am raw. Let your nearness be the salve that soothes and the light that leads. I am not afraid to be undone if you are the one doing the rebuilding. Let this healing not stop with me. As I receive your wholeness, let me carry it into every room I enter. Let me become a source of calm for the anxious, a voice of peace for the weary, a presence of compassion for the hurting. Not because I have it all together, but because I know the one who holds all things in his hands. Let my healing speak louder than my words. Let my renewed mind offer clarity to others. Let my restored body serve with joy and energy and purpose. Lord, I thank you that healing is part of your nature, that you see my wounds, not with judgment, but with intention, that you come close, not with condemnation, but with comfort, that you touch the hurting parts of me with hands full of mercy and eyes full of love. And even now, I feel the quiet work beginning, not loud or dramatic, but steady, present, real. I feel the breath slow, the tension ease, the thoughts soften. This is the beginning of restoration, and I receive it with a heart open to all you are doing. Lord, as healing begins to flow through my body and mind, I sense that you are inviting me in a deeper layer of restoration, one that reaches beyond myself and touches the space between me and others. Healing of the heart is not complete without reconciliation. So now, Father, I bring before you the tangled web of relationships that have left their marks upon me. The misunderstandings, the betrayals, the silences that speak louder than words. I bring you both the wounds I have received and the ones I have caused. I no longer want to carry them like hidden stones in my soul. I want to lay them at your feet and learn how to forgive, how to be forgiven, how to love again. God, you know every story behind every fracture. You know the sharp words that were spoken in anger, the moments when pride stood taller than peace, the distance that grew between people who once shared laughter. You know the grief that comes when trust is broken, and the shame that follows when I realize I played part in that breaking. I have tried to move forward while holding on to resentment, but I have learned that bitterness is a chain that binds the soul to the past. So today, I choose to release it, not because I feel ready, but because I know freedom lies on the other side of forgiveness. Father, teach me what forgiveness truly means. It is not forgetting, nor pretending nothing happened. It is not saying the pain was fair or deserved. Forgiveness is opening the clenched fist of my heart and allowing your grace to flow through. It is letting go of my right to revenge so that you can write a better ending. It is trusting that you are just and that you can bring healing where my control cannot. It is choosing to see others not through the lens of their mistakes, but through the same mercy that saved me. So I surrender my bitterness to your hands. Let it dissolve in your light until the only thing that remains is compassion. Lord, there are faces I struggle to think of without pain. There are memories that still sting when I recall them. For those people and those moments, I bring them to you one by one. I whisper their names into your presence. I may not know how to let go fully yet, but I am willing for you to teach me. Let your spirit soften my heart where it has grown hard. Replace resentment with understanding, defensiveness with humility, distance with empathy. Let forgiveness not be a single act, but a daily posture, a choice I make again and again until love takes the place of anger. And Father, I ask also for courage to seek forgiveness from those I have hurt. Pride resists. Fear hesitates. But your truth calls me to accountability. Show me where my words have wounded, where my silence has harmed, where my indifference has created division. Give me the grace to say I am sorry, not with self-justification, but with sincerity. Let reconciliation begin not with my demand to be understood, but with my desire to understand. Where I have broken trust, help me rebuild it patiently. Where I have ignored pain, help me listen. Let me become an instrument of restoration, not destruction. There are times, Lord, when reconciliation is not possible, when hearts remain closed or circumstances keep distance. In those moments, remind me that forgiveness can still be complete even without return. That peace does not depend on mutual agreement, but on surrender to your will. Teach me to bless even those who cannot bless me back, to pray for those who misunderstood me, and to release those who walk away. Let my forgiveness become an act of worship, an offering that mirrors your own heart. God, I know that you are the author of reconciliation. You took the first step toward me when I was still far away. You bridged the gap between my sin and your holiness with the cross. You chose mercy when justice demanded punishment. And because of that, I can choose mercy too. Help me reflect that divine exchange in my relationships. Let every conversation, every apology, every quiet act of grace become a ripple of your love moving through me. May those who once saw conflict in me now see compassion. May they feel the transformation that comes only from you. As I pray, I can feel the tension in my heart beginning to ease. The weight I have carried for so long starts to lift. There is room now for peace to settle, for love to grow again. This is the miracle of forgiveness. It heals both the offender and the offended. It restores what resentment tried to erase. It frees me not only from others, but from myself, from the endless cycle of blame and regret. In this space of release, I find myself breathing deeper. This is what grace feels like: unearned, undeserved, unstoppable. Father, let reconciliation become a way of life, not a rare event. Let it show in the way I respond to conflict, with gentleness instead of aggression, patience instead of pride. Let me be slow to anger and quick to listen. Let my presence disarm hostility and my words bring calm. Teach me to walk into tension with peace instead of avoidance, to approach brokenness with hope instead of despair, to remember that every soul I meet is a reflection of your image, worthy of dignity and love, even when they are difficult to love. And God, I ask for one more grace. Help me forgive myself for the mistakes that replay in my mind, for the seasons I wasted, for the opportunities I missed. Remind me that you have already forgiven me fully, and that shame has no authority in the presence of your mercy. Let me extend to myself the same compassion I offer others. Let self-forgiveness be the final thread that completes this tapestry of peace. Then, having been made whole within and without, I can walk freely, no longer a prisoner of pain, but a vessel of grace. Now, as the morning stretches brighter, I feel a quiet reconciliation within me, a harmony between what I have endured and what I am becoming. The fractures have not disappeared, but they no longer define me. In their place, there is light, there is freedom, there is the echo of your promise that forgiveness is the soil where new beginnings grow. And in that truth, I find rest. Father, as reconciliation settles gently into the deepest parts of my soul, I feel the stillness begin to stretch its roots within me. Like a river that once raged, now softened into calm. Something in me has shifted. The noise inside has lessened. The weight has lifted. And in its place, there is peace, quiet, steady, sacred peace. Not the kind that simply means the absence of conflict, but the kind that holds me even when life is unsettled. The kind that flows from your presence, not from my circumstances. This is the peace I long to walk in, not just feel for a moment, but carry into the very rhythm of my day. God, it is easy to talk about peace. It is harder to live from it. I am surrounded by urgency, distractions, expectations pulling me in all directions. My mind races before my feet even hit the ground. But you are not in the rush. You are in the pause, in the breath, in the unhurried moment where nothing is demanded of me but presence. Teach me how to live from that place. Let your stillness become my anchor. Let your quiet confidence override the panic of the world. Let me choose peace, not as a reaction, but as a posture, a way of being rooted in trust, not tossed by every wave. There is something holy, Father, about the quiet. It is not empty. It is filled with you. In the stillness, I remember who you are and who I am because of you. I am not defined by my productivity. I am not sustained by my plans. I am not measured by the opinions around me. I am held by your hand, shaped by your spirit, and known by your love. That is enough. Let this be the truth I carry into every space today. Let it slow my racing thoughts. Let it steady my trembling reactions. Let it calm the questions I do not yet have answers for. You are peace. And because you are in me, I have access to peace at all times. Lord, I want to walk through this day unshaken, not because there is no chaos, but because your presence walks with me. Let my soul not be stirred by every storm. Let me respond, not react. Let me listen, not rush. Let me breathe, not brace. May my presence bring peace into every room I enter, not through force, but through quiet strength. I do not have to shout to be heard. I do not have to prove myself to be valued. You have already spoken over me, the only affirmation I need. I am yours, and that alone gives me the confidence to move slowly, purposefully, fully aware of your nearness. Father, I invite your peace to cover the places in me that still feel anxious, the parts of my heart that try to control, to predict, to protect. I lay those tendencies down now, not because they make me weak, but because I know they are not mine to carry. You are the one who holds all things together. You are the one who goes before me. You are the one who guards behind me. I am safe. I am secure, not because I see every outcome, but because I trust the one who does. Let this become my new default, not fear, but faith. Not worry, but worship. Not striving, but stillness in the spaces where I feel pressure to keep up, to impress, to do more. Whisper again your invitation to rest. Not the kind of rest that comes only through sleep, but the deeper rest that calms the soul. Teach me that stillness is not passivity, it is power restrained. It is strength under submission. It is the decision to stand when everything tells me to run. Let that kind of stillness rise in me. Let it fill the pauses in my day, the drive to work, the wait in line, the moment between meetings. Turn those spaces into altars, those pauses into prayers. Let peace be the thread that weaves through every hour. God, I know the world around me may not change today. There may still be hard conversations, deadlines, disappointments, but I do not have to absorb the chaos. I can choose not to carry what is not mine. I can walk into difficult moments already full of your peace, so I do not have to search for it when I need it most. Let your spirit go before me, creating a space of calm in the middle of every task. Let your presence be the undercurrent of every conversation, every decision, every response. Let me remember that peace is not something I chase, it is something I carry because I carry you. There may be days when stillness feels impossible, when everything in me wants to speed ahead or shut down. On those days, remind me to return to this moment, to sit, to breathe, to whisper your name. That is enough. Peace does not come from having everything under control. It comes from surrendering what I cannot hold to the one who holds me. So I surrender again. Every outcome, Every question, every pressure, I hand it over and receive your stillness in return. Father, let this way of living mark me. Let it become so woven into my thoughts, my speech, my posture, that others sense something different even if they do not know what it is. Let them feel calm where there once was tension. Let them encounter kindness where they expected defense. Let them feel seen and safe in the space I create. Because I have learned to live from peace, not from pressure. Let my presence become a refuge, not because I have the answers, but because I have made room for your spirit to move. Teach me to value the slow things, the walk instead of the race, the quiet instead of the noise, the hidden instead of the hurried. Let me delight in simplicity, in the sacredness of ordinary moments, in the beauty that often goes unnoticed. Let stillness not just be a spiritual concept, but a rhythm that governs how I live, how I love, how I lead. And when the world tries to pull me back into its frenzy, let me remember that I have been invited into something deeper, something truer: your presence, your pace, your peace. Even now, as I prepare for what this day may bring, I feel the calm within me holding steady. I am not alone. I am not rushed. I am not without help. I am walking with you slow, steady, sure, and in that walk, I find all that I need. Lord, as I rise from the stillness you have drawn me into, I feel something stirring within me, an unshakable certainty that I am no longer who I once was. The quiet has done its work. The healing has begun. The peace has anchored me. And now, Father, I stand not just restored, but emboldened. Not just comforted, but commissioned. Something in me wants to rise, not in defiance of hardship, but in recognition of what you have already overcome. This is no longer a whisper of hope. This is a declaration of victory, not my victory alone, but the victory of your Spirit alive and moving in me. God, I do not make this declaration in arrogance. I make it in alignment with your truth, your word, your finished work. I do not declare victory because I am strong, but because you are, because you conquered death, defeated darkness, and crushed every power that sought to hold me down. Because you did not leave me where you found me. You lifted me, cleansed me, renewed me. You called me by name and clothed me in righteousness. So today, I speak not from a place of defeat or doubt, but from a place of divine authority, authority not earned, but given by grace. You have called me more than a conqueror, not because the battle is always easy, but because the outcome is already decided. You have equipped me with spiritual armor, not just for protection, but for advancement. The belt of truth around my waist, the breastplate of righteousness guarding my heart, feet fitted with readiness, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit. I do not wear these pieces as decoration, but as preparation. I do not retreat, I move forward, step by step, grounded in who you say I am and what you have already done. Father, I declare that fear no longer holds the key to my decisions. Anxiety no longer dictates my pace. Shame no longer gets to speak into my identity. I declare that the lies of the enemy fall powerless at the feet of truth. Every false label, every generational curse, every spiritual weight that once pressed me down has been broken by the power of your name. I am not under condemnation. I am not under oppression. I walk in freedom. I walk in authority. I walk in the victory that was bought not with words, but with blood. Let every step I take today reflect this truth. Let my voice carry the tone of a soul that has been set free. Let my posture radiate courage. Even in the face of challenge, I will not shrink to fit fear's narrative. I will not bow to the weight of weariness. I will rise not perfectly, but powerfully, because your spirit is the force behind my every breath. You have made me victorious not someday, not far off, but now, in this moment, in this life, in this very breath. Lord, I declare victory over every battle that still lingers, over the mind games that try to pull me backward, over the spiritual fatigue that tempts me to stop pressing in, over the doubt that creeps enduring silence. I declare that your promises outweigh my questions, your word overrides my feelings, and your presence empowers my persistence. Even in waiting, I am not losing. Even in weakness, I am not defeated. Because victory is not just in the outcome, it is in the endurance. It is in choosing to show up, to stand firm, to believe again. Victory, I have learned, is not always loud. Sometimes it is quiet faithfulness in the unseen. Sometimes it is worship when I feel nothing. Sometimes it is choosing to love when bitterness feels easier. Sometimes it is forgiving the 7th time when I wanted to stop at 3. These are victories that heaven celebrates. And I will not discount the small ones. I will not dismiss the daily ones. I will celebrate every forward step, every surrendered moment, every whisper of yes when no felt safer. These are the markers of a victorious life. God, I declare that my past no longer writes my future. That trauma will not be my name tag. That struggle will not be my anthem. I carry the scars, but not the chains. I carry the lessons, but not the shame. I walk forward with clarity, not because I see everything, but because I know who walks with me. You are my banner. You are my defender. You are my victory. And you have not brought me this far to leave me now. Let this declaration echo into the atmosphere around me. Let it resound in my home, in my relationships, in my workplace, in every sphere I touch. Let it interrupt every lie spoken over me. Every curse, every label, every ceiling. Let it be a trumpet blast in the spirit, announcing that a child of God has remembered who they are. Let it confuse the enemy and strengthen the wary. Let it be the sound of freedom breaking through. I was born for more than survival. I was born to reign with humility, with grace, with power, under your covering. And so I speak life over every place that once felt lifeless. I speak hope over dreams that were buried too soon. I speak strength over bones that feel brittle from the journey. I speak light into every shadow that still tries to linger. Let the sound of victory be not just something I say, but something I live day by day, breath by breath. Even when no one is watching, let it flow in my prayers, echo in my choices, shine through my eyes, not to draw attention to myself, but to point to the one who conquered it all. Father, I know that battles may still come. The enemy may still roar. The night may still fall. But none of those things determine the outcome. My victory is not circumstantial, it is eternal. It is grounded in the finished work of the cross. It is sealed by the resurrection. It is guaranteed by your unchanging word. So I do not wait for permission to walk in it. I walk in it now. I walk with boldness. I walk with joy. I walk knowing that the same power that raised Christ from the dead is alive in me. And even now, I sense a holy confidence rising. Not pride, not ego, just the deep knowing that I am surrounded, covered, chosen, that the roar of heaven is louder than the threats of hell, that angels go before me, that your spirit dwells within me, that I am held, equipped, and called. This is not just a prayer, it is a proclamation. This is not just a whisper of hope, it is a trumpet of truth. I will not be silent in the face of intimidation. I will not apologize for the power you have placed in me. I was created to overcome. I was redeemed to advance. I was born for victory. And today, I choose to walk fully in it. Father, having declared the victory you have already secured for me, I now feel a holy stillness asking for something deeper, not just strength to stand, but surrender to walk in step with you. I have tasted freedom. I have felt healing. I have spoken life and overcome darkness. And now I ask for alignment. Let everything in me move with your spirit, not ahead of it, not behind, but fully in sync with your will. Because what good is victory if it leads me in a direction you never intended? What good is momentum if it pulls me out of step with your purpose? Lord, I confess that in the past I have often asked you to bless my plans rather than asking for your plans first. I have rushed into things with good intentions, but little wisdom. I have confused ambition with calling, movement with obedience. But this morning, I lay it all down: my timelines, my assumptions, my desires, even the dreams I cherish most. Not because they are wrong, but because I want your dreams more. I want your will, even when it interrupts mine. I want your ways, even when they feel slower, quieter, or less obvious than the paths I would choose on my own. Teach me, God, to discern your voice among the noise. Let your whisper rise above the internal chatter, the competing agendas, and the pressure to always be doing. Let me hear when you say wait, when you say move, when you say speak, when you say be still. Let me learn that alignment with you does not mean the absence of challenge. It means the presence of purpose, even if the road is narrow, even if the way is unfamiliar. If it is yours, it is enough. I trust your wisdom above my understanding, your timing above my urgency, your sovereignty above my desire for control. There are places in my life, Father, where I know I have clung too tightly, relationships I have tried to fix in my own strength, decisions I have delayed out of fear, comforts I have chosen over calling. I bring them to you now. Unclench my hands. Remove what distracts me from your voice. Strip away every motive that masquerades as faith but is rooted in fear. Show me where I have substituted self-reliance for surrender. I do not want to live chasing approval or building what looks successful but is not anointed. I want to walk in whatever you have written for me, even if it costs me something I once thought I needed. Lord, I ask you to align not just my plans, but my posture. Let humility mark my steps. Let submission become my strength. Let me seek not position, but presence, not influence, but intimacy. Teach me to carry your will like a sacred assignment, not a personal achievement. Teach me to follow even when it is quiet, even when the crowd's thin, even when no one else understands. Because if I have you, I have everything, and I would rather walk unknown in your will than famous outside of it. Bring clarity where confusion has clouded my discernment. Let the fog lift. Let every counterfeit opportunity be exposed for what it is. Let me not mistake open doors for divine ones. Let me walk away from anything that compromises who you are in me. Give me boldness to say no when I need to, wisdom to say yes only when it is you. Let your peace be my compass, your presence be my map, and your word be the lamp to every step I take. Align my inner world so completely with your spirit that even the smallest decisions are guided by your hand. God, align my heart with what matters to you. Break it for what breaks yours. Let me not be so consumed with my own world that I miss the needs of those around me. Let me not be so busy with spiritual things that I forget the simple power of kindness, compassion, and quiet obedience. Let love become the measure of my life, not success, not status, not speed. Let your priorities become mine, mercy over judgment, truth over convenience, grace over pride. Form in me a heart that longs not just to know you, but to reflect you in everything I do. Align my relationships. Father, remove any that pull me away from your purpose. Restore those that you still intend to use. Send the right people into my life, those who will sharpen me. Challenge me, carry truth with grace, and call me higher. Let community become a mirror of your will, a space where your spirit is welcome, where encouragement flows, and where alignment is protected, not compromised. May every connection be intentional, every partnership rooted in shared pursuit of your glory. I also ask that you align my emotions. Lord, let my feelings be honest, but not in control. Let joy lead me, but not blind me. Let grief teach me, but not anchor me. Let excitement fuel me, but not rush me. Let disappointment humble me, but not defeat me. Teach me to feel deeply, but live faithfully. Let my heart respond to you before it reacts to circumstance. Let worship rise in me before worry ever gets a foothold. As I align with your will, help me trust that I do not need to see the full picture to take the next step. You are already in tomorrow. You are already writing the next chapter. My job is not to predict, but to follow, not to strive, but to surrender. I do not need to carry the whole journey, just the faith for today. And today, I choose your path. I choose your presence. I choose your will. Even when it breaks mine open to create something more beautiful. Even now, I feel something settling within me, a deep peace that says I am not behind. I am not lost. I am not late. I am exactly where I need to be, at your feet, in your hands, on your path. You are leading. You are shaping. You are aligning every detail I cannot yet see. And as I walk forward, I walk not in fear, but in full trust that your way is not just better, it is perfect. Father, now that my heart is aligned with your will, I feel a new readiness rising in me, not merely to be still in your presence, but to step forward in your power. I sense that this day is not meant to be ordinary. It holds divine appointments, quiet assignments, and unseen opportunities to reveal your glory through my life. And so, God, I come to you not only in worship, but with a request: anoint me for today. Set me apart. Fill me afresh. Mark this moment with your presence so that I may carry your spirit into every space I enter. Lord, I do not ask this for show or status. I ask because I know I cannot fulfill your calling on my life with human strength alone. I know my words are not enough unless they are bathed in your truth. My plans are hollow unless they are breathed on by your Spirit. My steps are uncertain unless they are ordered by your wisdom. I need your anointing not for great accomplishments, but for simple obedience, not just to stand before crowds, but to serve in silence, to love when it is costly, to listen when it is inconvenient, to act with courage when fear whispers its lies. Let your anointing rest on my mind today. Sharpen my thoughts. Give me clarity in decisions, creativity in problem solving, and discernment to know what comes from you and what does not. Let every idea I entertain be filtered through your wisdom. Let every conclusion I reach be surrendered to your direction. Guard my attention from distraction, my focus from fragmentation, my thoughts from anxiety. Fill the spaces of my mind with peace and purpose so that what flows from it honors you. Anoint my eyes to see as you see. Let me notice the needs that others miss. Let me perceive truth beneath the surface. Let me see the sacred within the ordinary. Teach me to recognize divine moments, not just grand ones. Whether it is a conversation, a decision, or a delay, help me to pause long enough to ask, what are you doing here, Lord? Let me be alert to your fingerprints a day and ready to respond when you point me toward purpose. Father, anoint my ears. The world is loud, but your voice is still and steady. Let me hear it clearly. Let your whispers cut through the noise of opinions, expectations, and inner doubt. Tune my ears to your frequency. When you speak correction, let me receive it with humility. When you offer comfort, let me embrace it with trust. When you prompt me to act, let me obey without delay. Let me be someone who listens more than I speak, who asks more than I assumes, who waits on you even when urgency demands I move. Anoint my hands, Lord, that whatever I touch today would carry your grace, whether I am writing, building, serving, or simply offering a quiet gesture of kindness. Let my hands reflect your compassion. May they never withhold good when it is within my power to give. Let them build up, never tear down. Let them extend peace, not pressure. Let them serve, not strive. Remind me that your anointing is not limited to church walls. It shows up in the smallest tasks when done in love and faith. Anoint my feet to walk in the path you have prepared. Keep me from straying into spaces not meant for me. Even if they look promising, let my steps be sure, not rushed. Let them carry peace into every place. Whether I am entering a meeting, a store, a conversation, or a quiet corner, let me carry something of you with me. Remind me that wherever I go today is a field to sow, a space to love, and an opportunity to be faithful. Let obedience guide my movement more than outcome. Let love be the rhythm of my walk. Lord, anoint my words. Let my speech be seasoned with grace, firm with truth, and gentle with love. Guard me from speaking carelessly or from silence when you are asking me to speak up. Let every word be an echo of heaven, not a reaction of flesh. Let me bless and not curse, encourage and not belittle, build and not break. Whether I am speaking to a stranger or a loved one, may your spirit guide my tone and intention. Let my words bring light, healing, and peace. Anoint my heart. Father, let it remain soft in a world that rewards hardness. Let it stay pure in a culture that praises compromise. Let it feel what you feel. Break where you break. Rejoice where you rejoice. Let me carry not just passion for tasks, but compassion for people. Guard my motives so that even the good I do is done for your glory and not for applause. Let me desire to love well more than to lead well. Let love be not just my message, but my method. I ask for this anointing, Lord, not only to be effective, but to be faithful. Anointing is not for show, it is for service. It is not to elevate me, but to exalt you. It is not a badge I wear, but a burden I carry with joy. You anoint not the qualified, but the surrendered, not the impressive, but the available. So I offer myself fully, not because I have much, but because I have been bought with a price. This life is not mine, it is yours. Let it be poured out today in every word, every action, every intention. Let this anointing touch how I respond to difficulty. When problems arise, let me operate from peace, not panic. When people disappoint, let me forgive quickly and hold tightly to grace. When I face challenges, let me remember that I am equipped because you are with me. Let me not grow weary in doing good, and let me trust that every act of faithfulness carries eternal weight, even if no one sees it. Let today be marked by your presence, not just your power. Let the fruit of this anointing be love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, not performance or perfection. Let others sense that something eternal lingers in the wake of my life, not because I have tried to impress, but because I have chosen to yield. Let your name be lifted high, not mine. Even now, I receive this anointing as a quiet commissioning. No ceremony, no spotlight, just your spirit descending like oil on a heart willing to obey. I step into this day aware that I do not go alone, that heaven backs my breath, and that every small act, if done in love, can echo in eternity. And I adhere by accident. I am not called without purpose. I am not sent without power. You have anointed me for this day, and for that, I move forward with courage. Father, as I move forward under your anointing, I do so with the humble awareness of my daily need. I know that calling does not remove dependency, and purpose does not eliminate the reality of limitation. Even as I walk in power, I remain human. I hunger. I thirst. I grow weary. And so, Lord, I bring before you my request for provision, not as someone making demands, but as a child trusting in the goodness of their Father. You have always provided. You have never failed. And today, I look to you once more for what only you can give. God, I do not come with a spirit of entitlement, but with a heart of expectation. I believe that you delight in meeting the needs of your children, not because we earn it, because it brings you joy to be our source. You are not a distant provider. You are near, attentive, kind. You know what I need before I ask, yet you invite me to ask anyway. So I come boldly, yet reverently, to lay before you the needs I feel, and even those I have not yet recognized. Whether physical or emotional, spiritual or material, I believe your grace is sufficient, and your storehouse never runs dry. Lord, I ask for daily bread not just for my stomach, but for my soul. Feed me with what will sustain me today. Give me strength where I feel weak. Give me clarity where I feel foggy. Give me calm where I feel restless. I do not need tomorrow's answers. I need grace for today's obedience. I do not need next month's breakthrough. I need courage for today's step. I trust that you are already in my tomorrow. So I release the pressure to figure everything out. Teach me to receive what is needed in this moment, and to recognize it as enough. Provide for my household. Father, you see every bill, every responsibility, every weight of provision I carry. You know the silent calculations in my mind. The budget's stretched thin. The moments of quiet worry I try to mask with strength. But I do not need to pretend with you. You are not only my Savior, you are my sustainer. I invite you into my finances, into the places where I have tried to rely on myself. Teach me stewardship, lead me in wisdom, but most of all, be my provider. Let me rest knowing that you care even about these seemingly mundane concerns. God, provide for the unseen needs to the ones hidden beneath the surface. The need for companionship where loneliness lingers. The need for encouragement when hope grows faint. The need for affirmation when doubt creeps in. These hungers do not show on the outside, but they weigh heavy on the heart. You see them all, and you care about them all. Let your presence fill the empty places. Let your spirit speak where silence once echoed. Let your love wrap around the parts of me that long to be known, and reminded I am never alone. I ask also for provision beyond myself. Lord, not only for what I need, but for what I might give. Fill me so that I may pour out. Bless me so that I may bless. Provide in such a way that generosity becomes my rhythm, not fear. I do not want to live with a clenched fist, always wondering if there will be enough. I want to live with open hands, knowing that you are the well that never runs dry. Let me give without calculation, serve without exhaustion, love without fear of lack. You are more than enough for me. Provide guidance. Father, in the decisions I face today, I do not want to lean on my own understanding or rely on default habits. I want your direction, even if it surprises me. Open the right doors and close the ones that lead to distraction. Make the crooked places straight. Light up the path just far enough for the next step. And give me the trust to move forward, even when the whole road is not revealed. Let my confidence not be in my plans, but in your presence. Provide favor where I need access, and peace where I face resistance. Provide resilience when the work feels hard, and rest when I have done all I can. Provide patience when waiting stretches long, and joy when things unfold slowly. Provide people who carry your spirit, who will walk with me, pray with me, speak life when I need it most. Let provision come not just through things, but through people. And let me never forget to be that provision for someone else. Lord, I lift up every person whose needs are deeper than mine, those without shelter, without food, without safety, without hope. Let your provision reach them through willing hands, through generous hearts, through unexpected grace. Remind me that I am not just a recipient, but a carrier of your provision in this world. Show me where I can be the answer to someone else's prayer. Give me the eyes to see need and the courage to respond. I surrender the fear that says, "What if there is not enough?" I silence the voice that worries, "How will this all work out?" Instead, I choose faith that says, "You are Jehovah Jireh, my provider." The one who gave manna in the wilderness, the one who fed thousands with 5 loaves, the one who turned water into wine, lack into abundance, despair into celebration. You do not just give what is expected. You give more than enough. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. Even now, I open my hands, symbolically and spiritually, and I let go of the illusion of control. I let go of the urge to hoard. I let go of the anxiety that creeps in through scarcity. And I choose to trust, not because everything makes sense, not because the numbers add up, but because I know who you are. I know your nature. I know your faithfulness. And I know you are good. Let this day be filled not just with the satisfaction of needs, but the awareness of your provision at work. Let me not take it for granted when the fridge is full or the bills are paid. Let me not miss the miracle in the mundane. Every breath is provision. Every opportunity, every moment of connection, every ounce of energy, I receive it with gratitude. Let thanksgiving rise before I even see the outcome. Let faith declare your goodness before the answer arrives. Let me live like someone who knows their Father is faithful. Father, as my heart settles in gratitude for your provision, it cannot remain focused on myself alone. The awareness of your goodness stirs a deeper calling within me to carry the burdens of others before you, just as you have carried mine. Lord, you have never meant for my prayers to end with my own needs. You have called me to stand in the gap, to lift voices that have fallen silent, to plead on behalf of hearts too weary to hope. I come before you now, not for me, but for them. God, I bring before you those who are walking through storms today. Some face grief that steals their strength. Others carry shame that whispers they are beyond your reach. Some are trapped in cycles of fear, addiction, or despair. You know each name, each struggle, each unspoken cry. I may not know their full stories, but you do. You have counted their tears. You have traced their scars. Wrap them in your comfort. Whisper to their hearts that redemption is still possible, that mercy has not expired, and that your love remains fierce, unwavering, and personal. Lord, I lift the broken families, the parents who do not speak to their children, the spouses who share a house but not a heart, the children who feel unseen by those meant to protect them. Heal what years of misunderstanding and silence have hardened. Let humility flow where pride once ruled. Let forgiveness rebuild where bitterness destroyed. Let them taste the miracle of reconciliation that only your Spirit can bring. I ask that love, not convenience, not obligation, but real love would be restored among them. Father, I intercede for those burdened by sickness, both in body and in mind. For the ones lying in hospital rooms with more questions than hope. For the ones fighting invisible battles of anxiety and depression. For those waiting on test results that could change their lives, meet them there. Let your presence flood those sterile spaces, turning them into sanctuaries. Let healing rise not only through medicine, but through peace that surpasses understanding. Touch the hands of the doctors, steady the hearts of the caregivers, and give endurance to the ones waiting for a miracle. Let them know that you see them, even in their weakest moments. God, I remember those who serve others tirelessly, the teachers shaping lives with patience, the nurses working through the night, the leaders striving to make just decisions, the pastors preaching through exhaustion, the unseen workers who keep the world moving. Strengthen them when no one else notices their efforts. Refill them when they are drained. Let them sense that their labor is not in vain, that every small act done in love echoes in eternity. Reward their faithfulness with rest, renewal, and reminders of your approval. Lord, I also bring before you those who have wandered far from you, not because they are evil, but because they are wounded. Some have turned away after loss. Some have grown cold after betrayal. Some have replaced faith with distractions. Yet you never stop calling. You never stop pursuing. I ask that you send gentle reminders into their days and unexpected kindness, a song they once loved, a memory that stirs their spirit again. Break through the walls they have built, not with force, but with tenderness. Let them know it is never too late to come home. Father, I pray for the lonely, those who wake up in silence, who eat dinner by themselves, who scroll through their phones searching for connection that does not hurt. Surround them with companionship that heals. Send people who will see their worth, who will listen without judgment, who will remind them they belong. Teach them that solitude is not abandonment, and that even in their quietest hour, they are deeply loved and never forgotten. I lift the oppressed. Lord, those living under the weight of injustice, those silenced by systems, those trapped in poverty, those persecuted for their beliefs. Be their defender when they have no advocate. Raise voices in high places who will speak for them. Let your justice roll like a mighty river, and your righteousness flow like an unending stream. Strengthen those fighting for what is right. Even when the cost is great, let truth rise above corruption. Light pierce through lies, and hope survive every dark night. God, I pray for our world, for nations divided, for leaders at war, for people displaced by conflict and greed. The earth groans with pain, and humanity seems to have forgotten how to love. Yet you are still sovereign. Guide leaders toward wisdom, not ego. Inspire peace over power, compassion over conquest. Protect the innocent, and bring accountability to those who exploit the weak. Let your spirit sweep across continents and remind us that we are one creation, bound not by borders but by your breath. Father, I also intercede for the church, the global body that bears your name. Heal the fractures caused by pride and fear. Unite believers beyond denominations, politics, and preference. Let your people be known again by love, not by arguments. Rekindle a hunger for your word, a boldness for truth, and a compassion for the lost. Raise up voices that carry grace with conviction, and hearts that serve without seeking recognition. Let your light shine through us so clearly that even skeptics see your reflection in our unity. Lord, I pray for those whose faith is flickering, for those who pray and feel nothing, who read and understand nothing, who serve but feel unseen. Remind them that faith is not always felt but chosen, that the smallest seed of belief is still powerful in your hands. Let them see your hand in unexpected moments, the sunrise, a stranger's smile, a quiet thought of peace, and recognize that you are still with them. Renew their strength and reignite their first love. And Father, I cannot forget those who have wronged me or those I have wronged. I lay them before you now, not to justify or condemn, but to release. Heal what words cannot. Free both sides from resentment's chains. Let compassion replace memory as sting. Teach me to love beyond fairness, to forgive beyond logic, to bless beyond comfort. Let me be as generous with grace as you have been with me. Finally, Lord, I ask that you use me as an instrument of intercession, not only in prayer, but in action. Let me not just pray for the hungry, but feed them. Not just plead for the lonely, but visit them. Not just hope for justice, but live it. Transform every prayer I speak into movement guided by your Spirit. Let compassion shape my days and mercy define my legacy. Let my life itself become a living intercession, one that points back to your heart, your power, and your unfailing love. God, as I step away from interceding for others, my heart remains tender, but my spirit grows steady. I sense your Spirit shifting me toward a place of deeper endurance, a space where the strength of purpose must be proven in the fire, not just felt in prayer. And so, Father, I come now to ask not just for favor or provision, but for courage. Courage to walk through what I cannot change. Courage to withstand trials I do not yet see coming. Courage to remain faithful when everything in me wants to run. Lord, I know your will does not always lead around the storm, but sometimes through it. You never promised comfort without cost or faith without friction. You promised presence. You promised power. You promised peace. And today, I hold on to those promises with both hands, because I know that temptation is subtle and trial is inevitable. I need courage not just for the dramatic battles, but for the quiet, daily choices that shape my character. Courage to keep believing when my prayers seem to echo. Courage to remain pure when compromise knocks quietly. Courage to wait when doors stay shut longer than expected. Father, you see the places where pressure tries to bend me, where doubt wants to seep in through delay, where disappointment whispers lies that sound so reasonable, so safe. You see the weariness that settles in after long seasons of hoping. You see the subtle fatigue of always showing up, always choosing light. I ask that you breathe your courage into those exact places. Fill every empty pocket in my soul with strength that is not mine. Let me rise not because the burden lessens, but because you lift me with grace I cannot explain. Give me the courage to say no when everything inside me says yes to ease, when temptation dresses itself in logic or in loneliness. Make your voice louder when shortcuts appear more spiritual than surrender. Let your spirit convict me gently but firmly. I do not want to trade a lifetime of calling for a moment of comfort. I do not want to lose my soul to the applause of man or the illusion of escape. Keep my heart anchored in what is eternal, not emotional. Let your truth ring louder than the desires that try to lead me away from your path. Lord, I ask for courage to endure criticism without losing compassion. When others misunderstand my motives, twist my words, or question my choices, let me stand with grace. Let me resist the urge to defend myself, and instead trust that you are my vindicator. Teach me how to love those who wound me. Teach me how to remain steady when the opinions of others swirl like wind. Let me be unmoved by popularity, but deeply moved by your approval alone. Give me courage to remain obedient, even when the reward is invisible. Let me sow in faith, love in silence, serve in secret. Let me not demand signs and confirmation every step of the way. Let the fruit of endurance grow slowly in me, watered by trust, strengthened by unseen obedience. Help me believe that every hidden yes matters to heaven. Every quiet choice is forming the foundation for something I cannot yet see. And Lord, give me courage to face myself, to name the patterns that have held me back, to confess the pride that still lingers, to acknowledge the fear that disguises itself as caution. Give me the strength to repent when needed, to heal where I have been hardened, and to grow in the places I have avoided. Let me not fear transformation. Let me not cling to comfort. Let me allow your refining fire to burn away whatever does not belong in me, even if it hurts, even if it is slow. I also ask, Father, for courage when the unexpected comes, when the loss hits, when the phone call changes everything, when the plan falls apart. Let your spirit rise in me in those moments like a shield. Let peace stand where panic wants to reign. Let hope speak when despair tries to shout. I do not ask to be spared from all trouble, but I ask to never face it alone. Let me remember in those moments that you are not surprised, not absent, not silent. You are there, holding, whispering, strengthening. God, Remind me that courage is not loud. It is not always visible. Sometimes courage is just getting out of bed. Sometimes it is sending one more text. Sometimes it is choosing to love again. Sometimes it is staying when walking away would feel easier. Sometimes it is speaking up, and sometimes it is staying silent. Let me honor every form of bravery you birth in me. Let me not compare my courage to someone else's journey. Let me not dismiss small victories as if they do not count. You see it all. You celebrate it all. Equip me, Father, to encourage others who are facing their own trials. Let my endurance become someone else's inspiration. Let my scars tell a story that helps someone else heal. Let me not just survive the fire, but walk through it carrying light for others who are still afraid to step in. Make my life a living testimony of what it means to trust you in pain, to cling to you in uncertainty, to walk with you through fire and not smell like smoke. And in moments when I feel overwhelmed, remind me that courage does not require the absence of fear, only the presence of faith. Even if my knees shake, even if my voice trembles, let me move anyway. Let me pray anyway. Let me show up anyway. Let me try again anyway. You are not asking for perfection. You are asking for surrender. So I bring you what I have, and I trust you to make it more than enough. Even now, I feel your strength rising gently in me, not as noise, but as knowing, not as adrenaline, but as assurance that you go before me, that you stand beside me, that you live within me, and because of that, no trial is too much, no temptation too strong, no season too dark. I walk in the confidence of your nearness. I walk in the quiet bravery of someone who is seen, known, and upheld by the one who never fails. Father, after walking through trials with courage and standing firm in temptation, I now sense your Spirit leading me inward again, not to withdraw, but to fortify, because I know that even after the storms have passed and the ground beneath me is stable, the true battleground remains within. My heart and mind are sacred territories, and they must be protected if I am to remain steady. So, Lord, I come before you not to ask for escape from the pressures around me, but to ask for your help in guarding what matters most inside of me. God, your word says that out of the heart flow the issues of life, that everything I speak, choose, pursue, and build begins in this quiet center. If my heart is unchecked, everything else unravels. So I bring my heart to you today, not polished, not perfect, but honest. Search it gently, expose what is hidden, uproot what is toxic, cleanse what has grown clouded by fear, pride, or insecurity. I do not want to live with a divided heart, half surrendered, half resistant. I want a heart fully alive, fully yielded, fully guarded by your truth. Lord, guard my heart from offense. It creeps in so quietly through small disappointments, misunderstood words, unspoken expectations. And if I do not catch it, offense takes root and grows into bitterness. I do not want to live hard-hearted. I do not want to carry secret grudges behind polite smiles. Teach me to release quickly, Teach me to forgive daily. Let love be the filter through which I process every wound. Let grace be the wall that keeps resentment from gaining ground. Guard my heart from comparison. This world spins fast, full of images and voices telling me who I should be and what I should have by now. It is so easy to look sideways, to measure my worth against someone else's highlight reel. But I know comparison distorts vision and steals peace. Let me rejoice in the victories of others without questioning my own. Let me celebrate what you are doing in their lives while still trusting what you are shaping in mine. Anchor my identity in your love, not in public approval or visible outcomes. Guard my heart from apathy. It comes not in crashing waves, but in slow dulling, one missed moment of worship, one prayer skipped, one act of obedience delayed. Before I know it, passion fades. I no longer feel deeply, dream boldly, or care enough to act. Stir my heart again, God. Keep me tender, not easily discouraged, but never numb. Let zeal for your presence consume me, not out of emotion alone, but out of conviction that you are worthy of my full affection. Father, I also ask that you help me guard my thought life, because where the heart feels, the mind often agrees. What begins as a whisper of insecurity becomes a loud declaration if left unchallenged. Teach me to take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ. Not every thought that enters my mind deserves a place to dwell. Not every internal narrative is rooted in truth. Let your Spirit become the filter through which every idea must pass. If it speaks fear, let it be cast out. If it speaks condemnation, let it be silenced. If it leads to pride, let it be humbled. Let only what is noble, pure, lovely, and true find a home in me. God, renew the way I think, not just once, but daily. Let your word transform the grooves of my brain. Let it rewrite the stories I have told myself for years, the ones that say I am not enough, the ones that predict failure, the ones that expect rejection. Let your truth write new declarations across the walls of my mind. I am chosen. I am loved. I am seen. I am equipped. I am not what happened to me. I am who you say I am. Let that become the default, the resting place, the home where my thoughts return when the noise of life quiets down. Help me recognize when my thoughts begin to spiral, when anxiety tightens its grip, when shame rises from the past, when future fears overshadow present peace. Let your voice cut through those moments like light into fog. Teach me not to battle thoughts with more thoughts, but with truth, with stillness, with worship. Let praise interrupt patterns of worry. Let gratitude break the cycle of gloom. Let laughter return, even in the middle of uncertainty, because joy is also warfare, and I choose to wield it with purpose. Father, I also ask for boundaries, practical and spiritual, that will guard my inner life. Show me what to say no to, not because it is bad, but because it drains what you have placed in me. Show me when to step away from noise, when to fast from what numbs, when to pull back in order to pour out later. Give me the discipline to rest, to unplug, to be still, not as escape, but as maintenance for the soul. Let me not live constantly reacting, constantly connected, constantly depleted. Let margin return. Let silence be welcomed. Let boredom even be sacred space for you to speak. Lord, let those closest to me help guard my heart and mind as well. Surround me with people who sharpen, not flatter, who call me higher, not deeper into distraction, who speak truth in love and hold me accountable with tenderness. Let my community be one that protects each other's hearts, guards each other's growth, and covers each other in prayer. Let iron sharpen iron, not for conflict, but for character. Let trust be the gate that allows voices near. And as I live guarded, let me not become hardened. Let me be strong but soft. Let me be wise but kind. Let me be firm but compassionate. Let my guarded heart still remain open to your spirit, responsive to your nudges, quick to weep, quick to celebrate, quick to repent. I do not want walls. I want boundaries born of wisdom, not fear. I want gates that open to love but close to lies. I want soil that is tilled and watched over, not left exposed to whatever passes by. Even now, Father, I feel your gentle hand over my heart like a shield, and your presence hovering over my thoughts like a canopy. There is safety here, not isolation, but intention, not withdrawal, but wisdom. I am not meant to live guarded out of paranoia, but out of purpose, because what you have placed inside of me is worth protecting, because peace is worth fighting for, because what happens inside of me determines what flows out of me. Let me be someone who watches over the wellspring with care, because from this well, others will drink. From this heart, others will feel your love. From this mind, others will hear your truth. So let it be clean, let it be clear, and let it be fully yours. Father, as I continue to guard my heart and thoughts under your guidance, I hear you calling me toward something even deeper, something foundational. Not just a moment of purity, but a lifestyle of integrity, a way of living that aligns my inner convictions with my outer actions, a faith not performed but embodied, a character that remains the same when no one is watching as when the world is observing. So now, Lord, I open myself before you once again, asking you to shape me into a person of unwavering integrity. God, I know integrity is not about perfection. It is not about having all the right answers or never failing. It is about consistency, being whole, honest, and undivided. It is choosing truth over convenience, light over secrecy, faithfulness over applause. It is being the same person in the dark as I am in the light. And that, Lord, is only possible through your Spirit working in me, because without you, I lean toward compromise. I justify shortcuts. I excuse small lies. I hide weakness behind performance. But with you, I can stand honest and whole. So I ask today, God, to make my heart authentic. Strip away any layer of performance, pretense, or spiritual pride. Let me not use spiritual language to mask selfish intentions. Let me not preach one thing and live another. Let me not speak grace but harbor judgment. Let me not proclaim faith but walk in fear. Let every part of my life tell the same story. Let the words of my mouth, the posture of my heart, the thoughts in my mind, and the actions of my hands all agree in truth. Father, help me to tell the truth, even when it is difficult, in conversations where honesty might cost me comfort or favor. Give me the strength to speak with grace and boldness. Let my yes be yes and my no be no. Let people trust my word because they have seen my life, and when I fall short, as I will give me the humility to admit it quickly, to make things right without defending myself. Let repentance never feel like failure, but like freedom. Let confession not be shameful, but sacred. Teach me to be faithful in the small things. Lord, integrity is not built in moments of applause, but in the quiet choices no one sees. When I am managing resources, let me be honest. When I am working alone, let me give my best. When I make a promise, let me keep it. When no one else shows up, let me still stand where I said I would. Teach me that the secret place is where integrity is born, and that the secret place is where you see me most clearly. Lord, help me to walk in integrity in every relationship. In my home, let love and respect not just be ideals, but realities. Let my family see the same version of me that the public sees. Let my spouse, my children, my closest friends bear witness to a life not divided by stage and backstage, but made whole by your truth. Teach me to apologize quickly, to forgive often, and to build trust one faithful act at a time. Let my influence begin there, not on platforms, but at tables, in hallways, through eye contact, presence, and care. I also ask, Father, that integrity would define how I lead, whether in formal leadership or in quiet influence. Let me lead not by manipulation, fear, or ego, but by example. Let those who follow see clarity, not confusion, conviction, not compromise. Guard me from cutting corners or covering up weakness to appear strong. Let me be bold enough to admit when I do not know, brave enough to give credit where it is due, and strong enough to resist temptation when no one would know the difference. God, let me manage time, resources, and opportunities with a clear conscience. Let generosity override greed. Let stewardship outweigh selfishness. Remind me often that everything I have is borrowed, that it comes from you and will return to you. Help me to live in a way that, at the end of my life, I will have no secret regrets, no double lives, no broken promises left to haunt my memory. Let my legacy be honesty, humility, and wholeness in this world, Lord, where compromise is often celebrated and deception goes undetected. Give me the courage to stand apart. Let me not follow the crowd when it leads away from truth. Let me not trade righteousness for relevance. Let me not crave success so deeply that I sacrifice my soul to attain it. If ever I must choose between integrity and influence, help me always choose integrity, because the highest calling is not applause, but faithfulness to you. Let your spirit be my compass when my own reasoning is clouded. Let your word be the standard I return to, not culture, not convenience, not my feelings. Write your laws on the walls of my heart, so that even when pressure comes, I will not forget who I am and who I belong to. Anchor me so deeply in truth that compromise feels foreign. Let holiness be not a mask I wear, but a reflection of the one who lives within me. And God, when I am tempted to hide, when shame tries to silence my honesty, when fear tries to cloak my flaws, when pride urges me to maintain an image instead of admitting my need, remind me that you are not impressed by perfection, but moved by authenticity. You are not seeking people who appear clean, but those who are willing to be made clean. Let that truth disarm my fear and deepen my resolve to live transparently, courageously, and fully in the light. Even now, I ask you to examine my heart and search my ways. Show me where my life is out of alignment, where the external shines but the internal is struggling. I do not resist your correction, I welcome it, because your correction is not condemnation. It is your kindness leading me into wholeness. I trust you to prune what does not belong, to expose what needs healing, and to rebuild what needs strengthening. Let me walk out today in quiet confidence, knowing that I am not performing for anyone. I am walking with you, and that is enough. Let integrity not be a burden, but a blessing. Let it not be a legalistic standard, but a joyful freedom. Let it be my worship. Let it be my testimony. Let it be the unseen thread that weaves through every choice, every conversation, every action, until at the end of the day, I can look back and know that I live with an undivided heart, pleasing to the one who matters most. Father, as I continue this journey of integrity and inner wholeness, I feel you gently lifting a weight off my shoulders. Not the kind of weight that comes from disobedience, but the heaviness of striving, of performing, of carrying the constant question, am I doing enough? In this stillness, I hear you whisper something freeing, something light, that joy is not a reward for perfection, but a fruit of presence. That gratitude is not a reaction to circumstances, but a rhythm of trust. And so now, Lord, I come to embrace joy not as an emotion to chase, but as a gift already offered. I come to give thanks not because everything is perfect, but because you are. God, thank you for this very breath, for the stillness of the morning, for the way light slowly filters through the window and reminds me that beginnings are still possible. Thank you for the warmth of your nearness, for the quiet ways you show up in ordinary moments, and for the consistency of your grace that greets me again today without asking me to earn it. I do not want to rush past this. I do not want to miss the miracle in the mundane. I want to see you in everything. Let gratitude become the lens through which I view this day, not just a polite prayer before a meal or a half-spoken phrase in passing, but a posture of the heart that sees your fingerprints in every detail, in the kindness of a stranger, in the smile of someone I love, in the unexpected pause that gave me space to breathe, in the struggle that stretched me, in the breakthrough that has not yet come but will. Teach me to give thanks in all things, not for all things, but in them, because gratitude is not agreement with pain. It is acknowledgement of your presence in it. Father, help me reclaim the wonder I have let slip away, the childlike delight that used to come so easily the laughter that bubbled up without effort, the way I used to pause to notice the sky, the sound of birds, the way the wind moved through trees. Bring me back to that place where life felt like a gift, not a burden, where joy did not have to be loud or extravagant to be real. Remind me that joy is my strength, not my reward after victory. The source of strength during the climb. Let my soul be light again, not because life is easy, but because you are carrying the heaviness I used to hold. Let me laugh more, not with cynicism, but with freedom. Let me dance again, not for others to see, but because my spirit is alive. Let me create, sing, move, breathe without fear of judgment. Let me remember that you, the creator of galaxies, delight in my delight. That joy is not an indulgence, but a declaration that despite everything, your goodness still holds. God, I do not want to let sorrow steal what it is not entitled to. I do not want to let disappointment define the rest of my story. I do not want to rehearse pain more than I rehearse your promises. Let joy be the sound that echoes louder than what I have lost. Let it break through even when my eyes are tired. Let it remind me that even here, even now, goodness is still being written into the days I have not yet lived. Show me how to live lightly, without carrying burdens that are not mine. Teach me to release control, not only because it is wise, but because it makes room for joy to flourish. I let go of what I cannot change. I lay down what I was never meant to fix. I breathe in this moment, fully present, knowing that gratitude makes space for joy to take root. And once rooted, joy becomes resilient, surviving droughts, growing in secret places, and blooming when the world least expects. Father, help me be a carrier of joy to others, not forced cheerfulness or surface smiles, but real joy that springs from a well that does not run dry. Let it spill out in the way I listen, in the way I serve, in the way I see the good in people even when it is hidden. Let gratitude be contagious. Let laughter soften hard places. Let encouragement replace complaint. Let people leave my presence lighter, not because I solved their problems, but because I reminded them of your nearness. And God, when sadness visits, as it sometimes does, teach me not to resist it, but to hold it gently in one hand while holding gratitude in the other. Joy and sorrow are not enemies. They can live side by side when grace is present. I do not need to choose one or the other. I can weep and still be thankful. I can grieve and still see beauty. I can walk through darkness and still believe that light is coming. Let this paradox become my strength, that the joy you give is not based on how I feel, but on who you are. Remind me often that gratitude is not passive. It is a weapon. It breaks the power of fear. It silences lies. It rewrites my narrative. It turns scarcity into abundance and resentment into peace. Let me wield it daily, not as a performance, but as a habit of faith. Let me begin and end my days counting blessings, not burdens. Let thankfulness be the soil in which my life is planted, because where there is gratitude, joy will surely grow. Father, thank you for being a God of joy, not distant or angry, but delighting in your creation, singing over your children, rejoicing in justice, dancing with victory. Let me reflect that part of your heart today. Let me walk with eyes open to the beauty around me. Let me live in awe, even of the smallest things. A sunrise, a warm meal, a song that moves me, a prayer answered in a way I did not expect. All of it is grace. All of it is more than I deserve, and all of it draws me closer to you. Even now, I feel something shifting not around me, but within me. A lifting, a release, a fresh breath that says joy is not a destination, but a decision. Gratitude is not reserved for special moments, but is available in every moment. You are here. That is enough. You are good. That is reason to smile. You are faithful. That is cause to rejoice. Let my life today be filled with joy that has no explanation other than your presence. Let gratitude flow not just from my lips, but from every choice I make. Let me live light, live whole, live free. Father, as joy and gratitude begin to overflow within me, I sense your spirit gently nudging me outward, not away from your presence, but deeper into your purpose, because the joy you have restored is not meant to stay contained. The peace you have planted is not just for my comfort. The gratitude you have awakened in me is a seed meant to be scattered, to bless others, to echo your goodness in every direction I move. And so, Lord, I come before you this morning with a simple, heartfelt prayer. Help me be a blessing today, not just in intention, but in every word I speak, every action I take. God, teach me to see people the way you do, not as obstacles or assignments, but as image bearers of your glory. Teach me to notice the tired eyes behind the smiles, the unspoken pain behind the polite nods, the subtle pleas for kindness wrapped in ordinary conversations. Let my spirit stay awake to the quiet cries around me. Let me be so consumed with tasks that I miss the people standing right in front of me, the cashier, the colleague, the neighbor, the stranger I may never meet again. Give me spiritual sensitivity to discern the sacred moments hiding in the mundane. Let my words today be vessels of life. Let them carry healing where there has been harm. Let them restore dignity where it has been stripped. Let them invite laughter where sorrow has settled in too long. And if I must speak hard truth, let it be clothed in compassion. Never condemnation. Let every conversation I enter carry your fragrance, not by quoting scripture alone, but by embodying its heart. May my tone be gentle, my timing be wise, my motives be pure. Let no word fall carelessly. Let no phrase be thrown in haste. Let every sentence be an opportunity to build, not break. Father, let encouragement become my language. Let me speak what is true, noble, and praiseworthy. Let me call out potential in others, even when they can yet see it in themselves. Let me celebrate more than I critique. Let me affirm more than I instruct. Let me point people back to who you say they are, especially when the world has tried to rename them, and when silence is needed more than words. Let me offer it with presence, not absence. Let my listening be a blessing in itself. God, I ask that my actions today would reflect your heart as much as my words do. Let kindness be my rhythm, not random, but intentional. Let me hold the door a little longer, ask one more question, give one more moment of my time. Let generosity flow not just from my wallet, but from my time, my attention, my energy. Let me serve when no one is looking. Let me give without expecting return. Let me bless even those who may never thank me. Father, help me bless those I find difficult to love, those who test my patience, those who misunderstand me, those who disagree with me, and even those who have wronged me. Let me rise above offense. Let me respond to insult with intercession. Let me replace criticism with compassion. Let me remember that to bless those who bless me is natural, but to bless those who oppose me is supernatural. And I cannot do it without you. Fill me with your Spirit, so that even my enemies might be surprised by the kindness in my tone and the gentleness in my eyes. Lord, show me where I can be the answer to someone else's prayer today. Maybe it is a small gesture that makes a big difference. Maybe it is a bold act that requires risk. Maybe it is simply standing beside someone when others step away. Whatever it is, let me not miss it. Let me be interruptible for the sake of love. Let me be inconvenienced for the sake of compassion. Let me not calculate my blessings, but pour them out, knowing that your supply never runs dry. God, I ask that you anoint my hands for practical kindness. Let them carry groceries, write notes of encouragement, prepare meals, lift burdens, offer touch, and serve quietly. Let my feet take me to places of purpose, to conversations I did not expect, to paths I would not have chosen, to people I might have overlooked. Let my very presence shift atmospheres, not because I am extraordinary, but because you are in me, and you are the source of every good thing I bring. Teach me the beauty of simple blessings, a compliment spoken with sincerity, a prayer whispered on behalf of someone else, a reminder to a weary soul that they are seen, a moment of stillness shared without judgment. Let me be present enough to see those opportunities and humble enough to seize them without hesitation. Remind me that blessing others is not about grand gestures, it is about daily faithfulness in the little things. And Lord, when I feel like I have nothing left to give, when I am tired, empty, overlooked, or discouraged, remind me that you are both the source and the reward. That blessing others is not just about them, it transforms me too. Every time I love when it is hard, I am shaped into your likeness. Every time I give what I think I lack, I discover your abundance. Every time I pour out in faith, I am filled again in ways I cannot explain. Let today be a day where I do not just talk about love, I walk in it. Where I do not just quote hope, I carry it. Where I do not just believe in grace, I become a conduit of it. Let my life preach louder than my words. Let my actions write a gospel that even the skeptical can read. Let people encounter you through my posture, my pauses, my presence. Not because I try to be perfect, but because I dare to be faithful. Even now, Father, I feel the joy of this calling rising within me, not as a burden, but as a beautiful invitation to be part of your answer in someone's life, to be the hand that lifts, the voice that affirms, the heart that understands. Let me bless others not just for their sake, but because this is who I was made to be. A light bearer, a peacemaker, a joy spreader, a truth speaker, a servant in your name, Lord, as I move from blessing others through words and actions. I feel the gentle call back inward, not to withdraw, but to release, because I realize now that pouring out must be anchored in letting go. True service, true joy, true peace, they are not born from control, but from surrender, and not just in moments of crisis, but in the quiet rhythm of each day. Father, I come before you with open hands, willing not only to receive, but to relinquish. Teach me how to live in daily surrender, not a one-time decision, but a continual posture of the heart. God, I surrender this day to you not with vague language, but with deep intention. I surrender its moments, its interruptions, its conversations, its detours. I surrender the parts I can predict and the ones that will catch me by surprise. I lay down my to-do list, my calendar, my plans, not because they are unimportant, but because I refuse to be mastered by them. Let my goals serve your glory, not my ego. Let my schedule bend to your will, not just my own agenda. Let me move through this day with a spirit that listens before it rushes, that yields before it reacts. I surrender my need for control, the need to know what is next, to fix what is broken, to ensure outcomes that are not mine to dictate. You are God, I am not. And the more I try to carry what belongs to you, the more I crush the life in me. So I release the illusion that I am holding it all together. I never was. You have always been the one sustaining, guiding, providing, redeeming. I place the weight of my life back into your hands, not just in theory, but in this very moment. Lord, I surrender my emotions, especially the ones I try to suppress or ignore. I surrender the anger that simmers under the surface, the anxiety that tightens my chest, the sadness I hide behind productivity. I bring them to you, not to be shamed, but to be healed. Let your spirit tend to the places in me I have tried to manage alone. Let me feel fully and freely, but never outside the boundaries of your truth. Teach me that surrender does not mean I must silence my emotions, only that I must invite you into them. I surrender my relationships, not just the broken ones, but the precious ones too. I release the need to be understood by everyone. I lay down the weight of expectations I place on others, and that I sense they place on me. Help me love freely, not to gain approval, but as an overflow of your love in me. Let me not manipulate affection, control outcomes, or cling out of fear. Teach me how to hold people loosely, loving deeply but never possessively. Let every interaction be led by trust, not insecurity. God, I surrender my weaknesses, not just the ones that are obvious, but the subtle ones I hide beneath success. I bring you my pride disguised as confidence, my defensiveness disguised as discernment, my overthinking disguised as wisdom. I do not want to pretend anymore. You know me better than I know myself. You see the depths and do not turn away. Let your grace meet me there. I lay my imperfections at your feet, not to be excused, but to be transformed. And Father, I surrender my strengths as well, the gifts you have given me, the talents I have developed, the favor that has opened doors. I lay them down so they do not become idols. I do not want to be owned by what I am good at. I want even my strengths to serve your kingdom, not my platform. Keep me humble in my victories and grounded in my influence. Let me never reach so high that I forget who lifted me in the first place. Let me never hold so tightly to success that I am afraid to be emptied and refilled. I surrender my reputation, what others think of me, what they say behind closed doors, what image they hold in their minds. I release the need to correct every misunderstanding, to be seen in the best light, to manage perception. Let me care more about being faithful before you than being praised by others. You are my defender. You are my advocate. And you are enough. I do not have to prove myself when I have already been approved by your love. God, I surrender the timing of my life, the unanswered prayers, the delayed dreams, the things I thought would be happened by now. I lay down the frustration, the confusion, the subtle resentment I have carried. I choose trust. Even if I never see the full picture, I choose to believe you are writing something beautiful. Your delays are not denials. Your silence is not absence. You are never late. Let my soul rest in your rhythm, not rushed, not lagging, but walking in step with eternity. I surrender the fear of the unknown, the places I cannot predict, the transitions I did not ask for, the doors that have not yet opened. I give you my future, not just my hopes, but also my hesitations. I do not want to live in protection mode. I want to live fully surrendered, believing that what you have for me is always better than what I am trying to control. Let your peace replace my panic. Let your promises silence the what-ifs. Father, teach me to surrender not just when I am overwhelmed, but also when life feels manageable. Let surrender be my starting point, not my last resort. When everything feels calm, let me still lay it all before you. When everything is going well, let me still ask you to lead. When blessings increase, let surrender increase even more. Let me never believe that surrender is only for the desperate. It is the daily habit of the devoted. And Lord, when I pick things back up, when I take control again, worry again, strive again, remind me to return. You are not surprised by my grasping. You simply invite me back into release. You do not shame me for forgetting. You simply reach out your hand again and wait. Thank you for being so patient, so steady, so kind. Thank you for loving a heart that sometimes surrenders in the morning and wrestles by noon. You are not intimidated by my humanity. You meet me in it. Even now, I feel the tension easing, the grip loosening, the breath returning, because when I live surrendered, I live free, free from pressure, free from pretense, free from the burden of having to be everything. You are everything, and I am yours. Let this day be marked not by how much I accomplish, but by how fully I surrender. Let every task be guided by peace, every conversation rooted in trust, every decision filtered through faith. I do not have to have all the answers. I just need to remain in your hands. Lord, after learning to live each day in surrender, I sense the next invitation is not merely to let go, but to tune in. Because surrender without direction leads to stillness. But surrender with your voice leads to movement. And so now, Father, I draw near, not just to speak, but to listen. Not just to offer prayers, but to recognize your whisper in the middle of them. You are always speaking. The question is whether I am paying attention, whether my soul has slowed down long enough to notice. God, help me quiet the noise, not just the external distractions, but the internal chatter, the thoughts competing for attention, the worries that echo louder than truth, the mental checklists, the rehearsed conversations, the questions on loop. Teach me how to create space in the chaos. Teach me to sit in silence not as a void, but as a sacred posture. Let the stillness become the soil where your voice takes root. I do not want to fill every moment with my own words and miss the sound of yours. I long to hear you not just for answers, but for intimacy. I want to know your tone, your rhythm, your presence. I want to become familiar with the way your spirit nudges, convicts, comforts, and leads. Let your voice not be a rare interruption, but daily rhythm. Let your guidance become more recognizable than my own logic. Let your peace confirm your leading, and your word affirm your voice. Guard me from confusion and help me discern between your direction and my desires. Lord, I ask for spiritual sensitivity, not just in the prayer closet, but in every part of my life. Let me hear you in Scripture, but also in nature, in conversations, in interruptions. Let me notice your fingerprints on the mundane and your whisper in the unexpected. Let the Holy Spirit be my interpreter, pointing out what I would have otherwise missed. Let no moment be too ordinary to hold revelation. Let no encounter be too brief to carry your truth. Teach me to listen with a posture of obedience. I do not want to be someone who only hears but never responds. I do not want to ask for direction and then ignore the path. Give me the courage to act when you speak, even if the step feels small or strange. Let delayed obedience no longer be my pattern. Let hesitation give way to trust. Remind me that your voice always leads to life, even when it disrupts my comfort. Let your instructions never feel like burdens, but like invitations into deeper intimacy with you. Father, I ask for clarity, not clarity in the form of full blueprints or future guarantees, but enough light for the next step, enough assurance to know it is you, enough conviction to move without needing every question answered. I know you rarely speak in loud shouts, but in gentle confirmations, in repeated peace, in timely scriptures, in wise counsel, in quiet knowing. Teach me to recognize these patterns as your faithfulness, not coincidence. Let me be a listener who trusts the consistency of your character more than the clarity of my circumstances. Help me respond quickly, not just when the direction is exciting, but also when it challenges me. When you say stay and I want to move. When you say speak and I want to stay silent. When you say wait and I want to run ahead. Let your voice override my preferences. Let your leading humble my plans. Let your truth hold more weight than my timeline. And when your silence lingers, help me not to panic. Help me trust that even your silence is not absence, but a deeper invitation to rest and remain. God, I pray that you would remove the fear of getting it wrong. Sometimes I hesitate because I am afraid I will misstep, or make a mess, but your grace is big enough to redirect me. You are not a distant instructor, keeping score. You are a gentle shepherd, guiding every move. Let me step out in faith, knowing that even if I make a mistake, you will meet me there. Let trust be stronger than fear. Let willingness matter more than certainty. Make me sensitive to divine interruptions, those moments when you change my direction through unexpected people. Closed doors or inconvenient needs. Let me not be so focused on my plan that I miss your hand redirecting me. Let my heart stay flexible, available, ready. You are not confined to quiet times or worship songs. You are the God of detours, of surprise encounters, of whispered nudges in the middle of ordinary tasks. Let me follow you wherever you speak. Father, let your word be the foundation for hearing your voice. Keep me grounded in truth so that I am not swayed by every feeling or impression. Teach me to weigh every thought against Scripture. Let discernment grow in me, not suspicion, but Spirit-led wisdom. Let me test the fruit, examine the root, and seek peace as confirmation. Your sheep know your voice, and I am your sheep. Teach me what it means to live like that, confident, secure, guided. Even now, I pause not to finish this prayer, but to listen. I quiet my heart. I slow my breath. I open my spirit. You are speaking, God. Perhaps not with thunder, but with clarity. Perhaps not with fanfare, but with presence. And in this moment, I choose to believe that your voice is near, your guidance is sure, and your will is good. Let me move through this day listening with the ears of faith, ready to respond in trust. Let hearing your voice become not an exception, but the beautiful norm of walking with you. Father, now that I have learned to recognize your voice and respond with trust, there is something deeper rising in my spirit, a longing, not just to hear you, but to stay with you, not just to seek you in the morning, but to walk with you through every hour that follows, because your presence is not reserved for sacred places or quiet moments. It is with me in traffic, in meetings, in laughter, in stress, in silence. So today, Lord, I ask you to teach me what it means to abide, to remain, to carry this nearness into the very fabric of my day. God, I do not want my time with you to end when I say amen. I do not want it to be a checkmark on a spiritual list, a compartment I visit before I go live the rest of my life. You are not a moment. You are the whole day. You are not limited to these early hours. You are the very breath within every moment I step into. So help me practice your presence, not just as a theology, but as a lifestyle. Let my awareness of you remain intact through interruptions and transitions, through tasks and conversations. Lord, show me how to carry stillness into activity, how to stay connected even when I am moving fast. Let the intimacy of this quiet hour leak into my thoughts as I drive, work, and interact. Let your peace follow me into every room. Let your joy seep into my words. Let your wisdom lead my choices. Remind me gently when I begin to drift, when I start living from my own strength instead of your spirit. I do not want to leave you behind. I want to move with you. Make every ordinary moment an altar. Let the mundane be transformed by mindfulness. Washing dishes, answering emails, waiting in line. Let them become opportunities to breathe you in, to whisper thanks, to realign my soul. Let the sacred and the secular blend. Because when you dwell in me, no space is too common. Every moment holds potential for encounter when I choose to remain aware of your nearness. Father, keep my heart soft throughout the day. It is easy to start tender and end hardened, choked by stress, burdened by demands, numbed by information. But I ask that you would interrupt that drift. Let your presence be the recalibration of my attitude, the anchor of my emotions, the refuge of my thoughts when frustration rises. Remind me that you are near when confusion sets in. Remind me to pause and ask. When weariness creeps close, let your presence refresh me like morning dew. Teach me to breathe with you, to pause even for 10 seconds and recognize your spirit, to say your name without needing a full sentence, to worship without a song, to commune with you in a glance, a sigh, a moment of silence in the middle of noise. Let abiding become second nature, like the rhythm of heartbeat and breath constant. Sustaining, unseen, but always there. God, I also ask that your presence would not only comfort me, but transform me. Let abiding reshape how I respond to people. Let it make me more patient when someone is slow, more compassionate when someone is harsh, more gracious when someone is broken. Let your presence be the difference in how I parent, how I lead, how I serve. Let others sense something deeper flowing through me, something that cannot be explained by personality or mood, but only by your spirit dwelling richly within me. Help me not measure your presence by feelings. There will be hours when I do not sense a stirring, when worship songs are not playing, when the world feels too loud to hear you clearly. But remind me that you are not far, you are faithful. You do not come and go. You abide, and I am learning to abide with you in return. Teach me to walk by faith, not by emotional cues. Let trust deepen even when the atmosphere does not cooperate. Let your word stay active in my thoughts. Bring scriptures to mind at just the right moments, when I need strength, when I need direction, when I need correction. Let abiding mean more than awareness. Let it mean obedience. Not striving, but flowing with the Spirit. Let my heart be quick to yield, quick to follow, quick to realign. Let surrender become seamless. Let confession be immediate. Let praise break out without prompting. Father, I also ask that your presence would guard me from distraction. The world is loud, and everything competes for my attention. Notifications, noise, news. But I want to live from a deeper well, a steadier rhythm. Teach me to retreat in the middle of activity, not to disappear, but to remain grounded. Let me remember that peace is not the absence of motion, but the presence of you in the midst of it. Let me lead from peace, parent from peace, work from peace, rest from peace. Let abiding change how I end the day too. Let me return to you with reflection, with honesty, with the same openness that I begin my mornings with. Let the bookends of each day be marked by communion, so that everything in between flows from that place. Let your presence guard my sleep as it guided my waking. Let even my rest become worship, not because I am doing anything, but because I have remained in you. Even now, I feel the weight of this reality settling deeper. I do not need to keep chasing after experiences. I just need to stay connected. I do not need to keep working for approval. I just need to walk with you. This is not about spiritual performance. It is about union. It is about relationship. It is about living every moment aware that I am yours and you are with me. Not just in church, not just in prayer, but in grocery stores and classrooms, in boardrooms and living rooms, in sidewalks and elevators and traffic jams. Let me live like someone who knows that Emmanuel, God with us, is not a Christmas concept, but a daily reality. Let me carry your presence like a fragrance that lingers, like a light that quietly fills dark spaces, like a whisper that changes the atmosphere. Let me never get over the miracle that the God of the universe chooses to dwell with me, to walk beside me, to fill me. Let me never treat that lightly. Let me never forget. Father, as I rise into this new day with the rhythm of your presence still echoing softly through my soul, I pause once more, not to begin something new, but to gently seal what you have been doing since the first light touched this sacred journey. From the trembling plea for healing in the early chapters, to the steady courage of surrender, and now to this calm abiding, I feel the full arc of your grace wrapping around me like the dawn, wrapping the horizon in soft gold. You have not only heard every prayer, you have walked beside me through each one. And now, as this prayer draws near its final breath, I know in my spirit that this is not an end, but a continuation, because with you, every ending is another beginning. Lord, this morning no longer feels like a rush into a checklist or a race against time. It feels like a slow, sacred inhale, like opening a window to fresh air and letting heaven in. And I thank you for every whisper, for every pause, for every realignment of my thinking, for every truth that slipped into my bloodstream when I did not even notice. You have rewritten so much in me, not through thunder, but through gentle reminders, through persistent love, through your presence that never forced, only invited. And I said yes. I am still saying yes. God, thank you for renewing my spirit in a way that does not just last an hour, but lays a foundation for the hours ahead. I am not stepping into this day alone. I am not stepping into it unchanged. You have rebuilt something quiet but strong in me. You have cleared the fog in my mind. You have softened the armor around my heart. You have turned striving into stillness. You have taken my anxious hands and placed something holy in them, a sense of purpose that is not tied to performance, a peace that does not need proof to stay. As I return to the world outside this moment, this private room of communion, I carry your spirit with me, not like a shield to hide behind, but like a lamp to guide me, Let this renewed spirit show up in how I treat people today. Let it show up in how I respond to interruptions. Let it show up in my tone, my posture, my presence. Let the world feel the afterglow of this sacred conversation in the way I move, the way I listen, the way I offer kindness without demand. And when the noise of the world grows louder than the whisper of your spirit, bring me back here, not necessarily to these exact words, but to this posture, this awareness, this hunger, this trust. Teach me to come back again and again, not just when I am desperate, but when I am whole, because even wholeness needs maintenance. Even joy needs tending. Even strength needs your breath to sustain it. Father, thank you for every soul who has traveled this path with me. For the one who woke up weary but stayed anyway. For the one who whispered every word with trembling lips. For the one who sat silently and let the truth soak in. For the one who cried. For the one who rediscovered laughter. For the one who was not sure how to pray, but let their spirit groan along. You have met each one exactly where they were, and I believe you will continue walking with them long after this prayer fades from their speakers. To the one listening now, I want to thank you. You showed up day after day, chapter after chapter, word after word, not just to hear, but to heal, not just to pray, but to be reshaped. What you have done here is more than listen. You have practiced presence. You have said yes to renewal, and that matters. You matter. God is not finished with you. What He started in quiet, He will finish in glory. Let this moment carry into your ordinary. Let it shape your choices, your steps, your peace. And if this journey has stirred something in you, if you felt seen, known, lifted, do not keep it to yourself. There are others who need these words. Others who need this presence. Others who are waking up to another heavy morning, not knowing that healing is just one prayer away. Share this prayer. Share your own. Leave a comment below. Tell your story. Speak your hope. You never know whose life will change because you chose to be vulnerable, because you chose to pass the light. If you have not already, I invite you to subscribe to this channel, not for numbers, but so that we can continue this rhythm together, so that each morning, each week, each sacred pause, you know you are not alone. There will be more prayers, more reflections, more grace waiting. Share this with someone you love, with someone who is hurting, with someone who needs a reminder that heaven is still leaning close. Let us build a quiet revival, one morning prayer at a time. And as I rise now, slowly, quietly, I feel the Spirit linger, not to hold me back, but to go with me, like a soft wind brushing against my face, like the hush just before sunlight spills over the trees, like water running gently over smooth stones. The kind of presence that does not shout but fills, the kind of peace that does not demand but remains. This is not the end. This is the beginning of today, a new day, a renewed spirit, a faithful God, and a heart that is ready